Hello, I'm O Speaks. If you're new here, like, subscribe, share. I just got really good news. I got blocked on X by somebody. Um, in Joker when he burned all the money from all the criminals, the mobsters, and all that, and he said this town deserves a better class of criminal. I believe the same thing about trolls. The internet deserves a better class of troll, and that's why I'm here. What's going on, Henry? How you doing, man? So let me move this over. This is nothing to do with the live. Well, it kind of does. I noticed something on X, and I'm like, what's going on here? Let me see. Let me pull these up. What's going on, Ms. Baker? I'm a different level troll. You cannot let me know what bothers you. You just can't. If you notice me doing something, ignore it. You have to ignore it because if you don't, what you definitely can't do is say it out loud what you don't want, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let me pull these up, all of these up one by one. Open. Another one open. Yeah, Henry, so here's the issue with these people is they start stuff, but then they want to play victim when you troll them. And it's like, wait, you can't have both. You can't do both. Either you're a troll or you're not. You can't troll and get cry. So this person, actually, it's not this person. Let me pull this up. So this is the first one. I noticed something on X. Candace Owens has trolls, right? Which is whatever. I started trolling them, but I noticed something about these people. This is one. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see. But I'll read it. Let me pull it. I have it up on the screen so I can see it better than you guys can. But what it says is, hey, Deb, I noticed a ton of accounts bashing Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson were coincidentally created when Charlie was murdered. Because I don't know why I checked this stuff. I just looked. And I said, you wouldn't by any chance be a Fed who just promotes official narratives and studies responses, would you? If so, what have you learned today? That's one of them. This is Deb. Her account was created September 2025. I think that's weird. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe it's me. So then there's another one. That's the first one. Here's another one. This one, same type of thing. It's called Swords and Shield. And I said almost identical. I said September 2025, web. You're one of those accounts that were made specifically to push Fed narratives on the Charlie Kirk investigation and other propaganda. What have you learned in this thread? And I just keep doing this. I find these people and I'm like, because all they do is go to all of her posts and they troll her. So I said, maybe I can do that. Anybody can do it. And these are small accounts that were just created in September of 2025. Here's another one. This guy, Hope in Darkness, went back and forth with me for hours. And I had time, so every time I see a notification, I go back in and answer his 2 or 3 comments. He's just going back very, very, very detailed. But as soon as I asked that question, poof, gone. Like magic. I was like, this is interesting. It says it's crystal clear. You're here to help with Charlie Kirk narratives and find out what people know or don't know. You're welcome for helping you get a better understanding. My only recommendation is to cut the ad hominems. It hurts your efforts to persuade the ignorant people. And I'd put up the same thing that I put with the other guys. I don't think this is even that bad. To be honest with you, this is not really that bad. But again, didn't say anything. No response. And I'm like, why wouldn't they respond? Like, is it really true that like a Fed can't deny being a Fed? I asked them if they're Feds outright and nothing. So finally I decided, you know what? I'm gonna get the next one that I see trolling, I'm gonna get them to block. So Deborah, I went on about 10 or 15 of Deborah's posts about Candace Owens, and she finally got sick of me. said, I reported him for harassment and blocked him. Thanks for pointing it out. This other person muted me also. They blocked me. Come on. But here's the funny part. I went specifically to posts where they were harassing or trolling Candace Owens, and I trolled them. They can't handle it. So this is a perfect example of you can dish it, but you can't take it. So I'm harassing you for trolling you on posts where you're trolling Candace Owens. I've told you guys many a time, I troll the trolls. I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of this. And I deserve a pat on my back. So I'm going to do it myself since there's nobody here to pat me on the back. Something's wrong with these people. So I show them how wrong it is by doing it back to them. And then they go crazy. Like, what's going on? What's he doing? I'm doing exactly what you're doing. I'm showing you. I'm a reflection. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the live. I shared all my links. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Rumble. That's why you see the links that I put on in there. You see YouTube. Like, why does he have YouTube up? Because I'm also on Rumble. They may not have my YouTube. People on Rumble are like, why does he have Rumble up? Because I'm live on YouTube, and you may be like, oh, I can go jump on his YouTube as well. Anyway, it is a badge of honor to get blocked. So if you are a troll, you should never, ever, 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 ever block somebody because you're giving them a win. Whether you like it or not, they win. And typically trolls that's what they're trying to do. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about Candace Owens. I'm sticking to this because there's that freedom of speech thing I keep talking about is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So we're staying with that theme. But right now, Dan Bongino has come back. Just really, really weird because he was in the FBI. Like he was heading up the FBI, him and Kash Patel. And he quit. I don't know why he quit, but he quit. And he said, I was working a lot of hours. I can just go back to podcasting. And for whatever reason, he thought it's a good idea. Now, again, he has this position of power in the federal government to investigate things. And he was put in the place to do that. And he thinks it's more important for him to come back to podcasting than actually investigate the things that he's been complaining about for years. I find that funny. I find that ironic. And I think it's a perfect example of what's wrong with the left and the right. The right is going crazy right now. I don't know what's going on with the right. It's funny to me because I've always seen myself far, far right. But I've never liked Republicans because they don't do anything. Dan Bongino is a Republican. He's a perfect example of somebody who gets in office and all he does is talk to the point where he left office to go talk. And he really thinks, he said, he called himself the podcast, the Godfather of podcast, some nonsense. And I'm like, dude, you were in the FBI. You went there supposedly to help drain the swamp. You've done nothing. Now, they made a lot of arrests. They've done great on illegal immigration. All just do. Everything they did there, phenomenal. But when it comes to actually draining the swamp, Epstein files, they had to be forced to release this stuff. And then, he said there was nothing there, and then they end up releasing 3 million files. How is there nothing there, but there's 3 million of nothing? It makes no sense. You said there was nothing there. You spent all this time redacting just to go back to podcasting and yell at people and argue with people because they saw that you did nothing and they noticed it. This is a real, real, real problem. Real problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. We live in a feelings over facts society. And it's frustrating. It's annoying to see these people think that we don't see them. And this is the whole theme of this live today is going to be that. There's a guy named JP Sears. I'm going to play his video because it's really funny. But he shows both sides of it. And he's like, he just shows how silly society is right now, especially in politics. It's silly. To the protest thing, Black people, please stay out of this. This is not our fight. I'm going to say this as many times as I can because it's not our fight. There's something really, really interesting about us. Um, and this is probably because of our history. Actually, it is because of our history. We're really, really, really resistant to authority. We're going to be the ones to save this country. Just wait and see. Remember, I said this. There's 7 of you in here. Remember, I said this. We're going to save this country no matter what anybody thinks because we resist authority no matter what, even a lot of times to our own detriment. The police pull you over. We don't comply, even though we should. We don't. And this is going for the U.S. government right now. This is going to go with speech. It's going to happen. We're the ones who snap society out of this whole. I'd be more careful with my words now. The whole rainbow agenda. Black people did that. COVID. We're the ones who snapped people out of the COVID thing. Nobody got that. I mean, I won't say nobody, but we didn't get that. We didn't want anything to do with that shot. Black people, and they're sitting there trying to figure out what's going on. We resist authority because of our history. And we're going to be the ones that turn society around, which is why we're so important. We're going to question. I mean, we got beaten as kids for questioning. Why? Your mom looks at you. You had the nerve to say why? Okay. But we still question it. This is what we're doing right now in society. This fight with ICE has nothing to do with us. We are the ones who are damaged most by illegal immigration. They come straight to our areas, our neighborhoods. That's us. So we see this. We know this. We know that politicians have not done what they said they're going to do in our neighborhoods. And we actually liked this. During the last election, I played dozens of Black people saying, no, I'm good with this. We need to close the border. We need ICE here. And it was cleaning up our neighborhoods. The left doesn't want that. They don't. They want to push their rainbow agenda. They want to push more illegals here because that's how they get votes. We don't vote. And when we do, it's because we're making a statement. Our statement this last election, where we voted for Trump, was to stop illegal immigration, stop focusing on everybody else. The money should be coming here. And that's where we're at right now. Stay out of this ICE thing. Got nothing to do with this. I'm telling you, they use our ability to fight back, reject authority. That's how they get their stuff passed. And then again, I said this 100 times. Then they leave us behind with burnt down neighborhoods, no police because they removed the police. So that way they can use the next Black man who dies at the hands of police to start a whole new movement and pass their laws. It's got nothing to do with us. These are illegal aliens. When we break the law, where do we go? Jail. Everybody knows that. When they break the law, where do they go? Nowhere. They let them go. And then they let them go into our neighborhoods. This is not our fight. This is not our fight. Now, the good thing is I'm seeing most Black people pushing back on this, but I'm seeing some of us cave. Like, oh man, because there's a natural empathy because we've seen it. We grew up in it. We grew up seeing brutality, police brutality. Again, whether it's our fault at the very beginning of the interaction, we've seen it get taken too far on countless occasions. So why are we going to get involved with illegal aliens when they broke the law and they're not getting the same treatment? They're just getting sent home. We get sent to jail. They weren't even getting sent to jail for a while. They get right back out and they send them right back. Go to their neighborhood. We don't want them here. We saw what happened when they sent them all up to Martha's Vineyard. No. Send them to the colored people's neighborhood. That's how they see this. It's absurd, but that's how they see it. We cannot get involved in this because this is helping us come up. And we are going to be the ones to save society. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. We reject the stuff. And then we finally just say that when it's time to say something, we say it. And that's what happened in 2025 or 2024 election. We're like, yeah, we're done with all this rainbow stuff. Get the illegals out of here. They're getting welfare. What? Nope, they got to go. And it played a huge role in the outcome of the election. Got Trump elected He's doing that part, which is good. So he's serving the promise that he made to us. He's doing that. The other stuff, Ukraine, actually, there's 4 really big things that are turning America against this administration. The first one is Ukraine and Israel. $200 billion was given to Ukraine, and that was the beginning of us saying, well, wait a minute. You guys have money for this, but you don't have money for our neighborhoods? Not even veterans? Really? What are we doing here? There's no reason for that. Trump promised to stop that. Why hasn't he stopped it? Ukraine specifically. Because Congress launders their money through there, and that's how they make money, so they're not allowing him to do that. Well, he ran on it, so he's going to be held accountable. That is a point of divide right now. That's one of these are some of the things. So they're harming the right now, and the right's trying to blame. They're trying to find anything. Candace Owens' fault. It's Tucker Carlson's fault. Why there's a divide on the right? No, these are the things that have people questioning everything, including Black people, because we weren't really involved in politics. We had to get sick of stuff to get involved. So the $200 billion given to Ukraine, but Congress needs the money. Defense contractors need the money, so they won't allow him to stop a full war that he promised he was going to stop. Okay, well, October 7th happened. Even Charlie Kirk had serious things to say about this. Matter of fact, let me find this video because it makes no sense. So this is what Charlie Kirk had to say about October 7th. And that's when Hamas went into Israel. Where is that? Hamas went into Israel. Here it is. And did a horrible attack on Israel. Horrible. Nobody denies that, but this is one of those things where it's like, okay, so this happened. What does that have to do with us? It's not a matter of whether or not we sympathize. What's going on, TP? It's not a matter of whether or not we sympathize or we empathize or we want justice for what happened, but it has nothing to do with us. We have our own problems in our neighborhoods, in our homes. So this is what Charlie Kirk had to actually say about that. October 7th. This is like, I think this was the 10th or the 12th, a few days after it happened.
How did these guys not know this was taking place?
So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. But the fact is now Bibi and the Israeli hard right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. My plead to Israel is be precise, be focused in your retaliation.
If they do overreact, I'm more coming from a place of thinking this was intentional. If they don't overreact, then this wasn't intentional. Meaning, if all of a sudden you see an all-out annihilation.
What do you mean by intentional? That they knew it was going to happen?
That That no, when you're asking about the stand down 6 hours and 3 hours, then why did you? What
No,
intel
of
are you
course.
getting? So we're on the same page.
No, fair enough.
Yeah,
No,
all I'm saying
I
is
just wanted to make sure I understood.
Sure, go for
look
it.
at the cameras, the radars, Patrick. Not only did they go in,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
no, but
Like,
let hear me out here. Not only did they go into Israel, they got out of Israel with hostages.
Yeah, 100 hostages.
So you would think. Let me just hear me out. There's a penetration of your border wall, okay? That you guard on a holy day, the 50-year anniversary of the Yom Kippur War, and you would think, hey, they're going to come back. Let's make sure that doesn't happen.
Now, this is Charlie Kirk, who is one of the bigger defenders of Israel and Zionism. And for 2 years, so this was his gut reaction. That's what you heard. This was days after it happened. And then for 2 years, we saw a systematic destruction of Gaza, right? Okay. Again, still not our war, but this is what happened. This is the reality. Charlie Kirk, you see him, they say they're going to try to ethnically cleanse this area. You heard Patrick Bet David say, if this is just an annihilation, we'll know that it was planned. Okay, well, that's exactly what it was. And closer towards the end of his life, Charlie Kirk went back to his gut and started speaking back out against what happened, against how it happened. Like it's not defending Hamas. It's saying, wait a minute, you're telling me that Fort Knox, somebody walked in and just took gold out of Fort Knox? It doesn't happen. It can't happen, but it did. So he started questioning things again. He went from that to full-on Zionism, towing the line, and for the last 6 months, he started questioning again. He started inviting people like Tucker Carlson. He invited Marjorie Taylor Greene. He invited Candace Owens, or he was going to, and they were all against it. No, you can't bring these people. You can't do this. We can't have these people. They go against the narrative. And he's like, yeah, that's the point. He had Dave Smith come up and just destroy Josh Hammer in a debate on Israel. Why did he do that? Because that's what he believes in. That discourse is what he believes in. Now, he didn't care for trolls, so he really didn't like Nick Fuentes. Fine. But when it came to actual debating on the actual topics, he was for it. They did not like that. First thing Bibi Netanyahu did was come out and say, well, you didn't kill him. Nobody asked you, dude. Nobody asked you if you killed him. Where did that come from? Well, if you look back now with hindsight, you can say, he was really calling Netanyahu out and telling the truth about him, saying this guy was on his way out. There was an uprising against him. This war has got him back into popularity, I guess. I don't know. But that guy, Charlie Kirk, is now dead because he went back to his gut feeling about how stuff happened and questioning things. He sounded like Candace Owens right there. That's full-on conspiracy. Was there a stand-down order? Was there a conspiracy? Bibi Netanyahu, like, he sounds just like her. Of course, they say, he hated her towards the end because she went against everything. No, he sounds just like her. So you have Ukraine, then you have that whole instance. It still hasn't stopped. Like, technically, there's a ceasefire, but we're still spending money there, and the American people are like, this is ridiculous. On top of that, you still have this whole Zionism push trying to convince Christians that Jews are superior to us, and it's weird. And we're looking at them like, I don't like this. So they're losing that narrative. Then you have the Epstein files. Oh, I guess I'm not supposed to say that word. You have the files. We'll just call them the files. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Donald Trump all said there's nothing there. There are no files. What is this? Then how do you release 3 million of nothing? If there were no, like, they literally said this on international TV. There's nothing there. And it's like, yeah, I am. There's just a lot. I have a lot. There's a lot to cover there, TP. TP asked if I'm going to cover those. Yes, I absolutely am. I had to figure out how to do it because apparently even the biggest YouTube channels and commentators aren't able to say the E word. They're not just getting shadow banned. They're taking them completely out the algorithm. So they said, like, I've seen 2 of them now. One's calling them the Einsteins and one's calling them Berenstein files, because they would do a video with that and see such a cut that it made absolutely no sense. And the only thing different from that and their regular content was they named that guy. So I may even bleep that out, that word out. Call them Einstein files, call them whatever you want. I'm just going to say the files. 3 million came out. There's some bad stuff in there. There's a lot of videos in there. But yes, I'm reading through. I'm watching other people talk about them. Epilogue, that's funny. But yeah, it's this is something that the people wanted. This is something that you said that you were going to do. You don't fully do them. What's going on, Vibe in My Lane? I don't know. I've seen some videos on that. I don't know. But if there's nothing there, why did it have to be forced out? Like Congress literally had to take action and do it. Thomas Massey, who they all hate now because he forced them to do this, like that's not a reason to hate a guy. He's the most conservative, traditional politician right now of all. But he's a bad guy because he forced them to release these files. He wanted them unredacted. I think they should be, unless there is a actual image of a child, it should all be redacted, or not unredacted. It should all be stripped of redactions because there's a lot of redacting that they did, and it doesn't make sense. I saw one where some guy's telling Epstein to unalive someone. He gives him his permission to unalive someone, but the name is redacted. Why? That's somebody who's like openly calling for a crime. That's a call to action. He said, "You have my permission to unalive whoever." They redacted that too. Why is that redacted? Why don't we get to know the criminals that are out there so when you go get them, we have a foreknowledge of it. Instead, they redact people like openly committing crimes. I don't understand that. Now, they have a year, in my opinion. Actually, they have till the midterm. So they have June through September is the end of their term. That's it. After that, Trump will be a lame duck president. But if they start arresting people from this and they start pulling down these swamp creatures that are in charge, apparently, they don't start making like a lot of arrests, they're done. All of them are done. And they're crying right now about, Tim Pool, poor Tim Pool, that guy. I just now made a comment to him because he's complaining about the elections. He's the same guy who was complaining, Candace is going to cost us the midterms. No, you're going to cost us the midterms. And idiots like you, let me see if I have it up here. Because it's like, how do you not know what's wrong? Like, they do politics for a living. This is what they talk about. This is what they do. That's all they talk about. Where's profile on here? Profile. There it is. I found some really funny songs somebody made. Where is it? Sorry, I wasn't planning on showing this, but I want to show it because it's important. This is me harassing that person until they block me. They actually reported me. That's so good. So satisfying getting blocked by a troll. Here it is. Tim Pool. Here we go. Let me pull this up real quick, and then I'll get to the actual purpose of this live. I'll make it all the way. So Tim Pool said Republicans is cooked. I don't know what that's about. But somebody said, why didn't they show up? That's a different one. Dang it. That's a Texas one. Here it is. So I said, blame yourself and other idiots focus on elections over promises made. You morons spend more time trying to get people reelected than forcing them to do their jobs while they're in office. If they did their effing jobs, winning elections would be a given. Don't cry now, losers, because that's all they're going to do. And I stand on that. You wouldn't have to convince people to re-elect somebody who's doing their job. They would say, oh, he's doing a really good job, we're going to keep him in. It's actually easier to remain an incumbent than it is to start all over. And what they do, as soon as their people get in office, the right now has every branch, including judicial. So you have legislative and you have the executive branch, and you still can't get anything done. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So you mean to tell me that it's more important to get Dan Crenshaw or Ted Cruz reelected when they're already in office to do what they're supposed to do? So you got until August. And as soon as those re-elections or the midterms happen, if you lose, you're done. Because no one's, if there are no arrests and no promises kept, why would anyone want you to come back? The whole point is to get rid of you people. That's it. Yeah, it's very easy. It takes so much money to convince people to vote for a newcomer. But if you already have somebody in office, yeah, if he was doing his job, there's no reason to replace him. That's how people in Chicago get caught up with aldermen. If their neighborhood's semi-decent, even though there's bad areas, they just automatically vote the person because they know their name. They don't even have to know what they do. But if there's problems, all of a sudden, the new guy's going to come in, spend the money like TP just said, and it changes everything. But instead of doing that, instead of just doing your job, their focus, for whatever reason, is getting out there, knocking on doors, and convincing people that the guy who's in office is going to do what he told you he was going to do to get elected last time. But this time he's serious. He's going to do it. That doesn't make any sense. And you're going to have a hard time. The right knows this, but they're just not. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But those are the three things. So Ukraine war, Israel, the files, and then the last thing was Charlie Kirk getting assassinated on national television. These are the things that have caused a divide and woken people up to asking questions about everything, because you're not doing any of the things you said. Well, again, they're doing some of the stuff. The immigration is phenomenal, but you're not doing all of the promises that you said that you ran on. And then we just watched this guy get assassinated on TV and nobody wants to do anything about it. Like, it's weird. We're just supposed to accept the Fed narrative when we've seen this happen before. We've seen this happen before. Blatant assassination following 2 attempts on Trump's life. One where he actually got shot in the ear. We still don't know what happened with that. He may know, but why wouldn't you share that with us so we know? Was there a rogue Secret Service agent who allowed this to happen? How did this happen? We need to know. We voted this guy in, and somebody literally tried to, 2 people literally tried to unalive the guy. They had weapons aimed at him. One of them hit him. What do? They unalive that guy, scrub it clean, and we move forward. Trump should be calling for this to be out so everyone knows what happened to him. Why isn't he doing that? I don't understand that. Why can't we know this? We put you people in office. We're your boss. What's up, G. Will? And they were like, when Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson says something about Charlie Kirk's unaliving, it's like, what do you mean? We caught the guy. So you guys don't have a problem with the text messages? No, we have not. What do you mean? Guilty. And then if you say anything, they say you're tainting the jury pool. It's like, well, wait a minute. So you can call him guilty in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty, but I can't question whether or not he's guilty? So he's guilty until proven. This guy is guilty until proven innocent. I can't ask anything about it. Candace Owens is evil, demonic. Can't believe she's asking questions about this guy. Cash Patel blatantly lied about the text messages, and he's still saying it, about Discord, right? And then they put out an indictment that says nothing about Discord, but it says text messages. The first person during their press conference said that this weirdo was communicating with his furry boyfriend in Discord. And full confession, conveniently, full confession via text or via Discord messages. They planned it there. Discord says, no, that didn't happen. So they don't even put it in the indictment, which means there's no evidence for that. They just said it. You have a confession, a full confession. He says everything. He said, oh, my gun's there. I got to go back. I'm watching them right now. They're right by I think they're going to get it. I left it in the bush for some reason. I didn't take it to the car. I just sat in the car and waited to go back to the bush to get the rifle. It's like, this doesn't make any sense. But he's laying it all out. I used my grandfather's World War II or World War I rifle. And then I etched some things on these bullets. But I'm really I'm making sure I get away. And he's laying this all out to a guy who supposedly doesn't even know that it happened. And I left a message for you with more information, another confession. Cash Patel says, yeah, this was all done in Discord. Discord says you're a liar. We did the investigation. There's nothing on our servers about planning or anything to do with this. So in the indictment, they say, oh, it was text messages. So then Cash Patel gets in front of a congressional hearing and they say, hey, what about that Discord thing? Oh, yeah, we're investigating it. Why wasn't it in the indictment? That's your strongest evidence. It's a confession. You didn't put that it was in Discord? That's weird. So you ask questions about this, you're at fault, you're wrong, you're tainting the jury pool. You can convict him publicly. You just can't say, hey, are you sure this is the guy? Those four things are destroying the right now because you have never Trumpers who are now Team Trump because he's attacking Israel and keeping their money flow through Ukraine and Israel. And then you have the MAGA people, me, who voted him in to do his job. And I've been warning about this. I'm going to keep saying this. You guys have heard me. I'm going to say this. You probably heard me say this in the last 4 lives. I was not a Trump supporter. Trump supported me, my ideas, and he agreed with me and said he was going to do that. So the minute he doesn't do what I say he's going to do, I'm going to say something. And here I am again saying something. I put you in office to do a job. In my life, I've employed thousands of people. I've hired hundreds, if not thousands. I've fired hundreds. The people who get fired is because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. What I asked them to do. What they agreed upon getting hired to do. He agreed to do something. This was our interview. The election was our interview. Okay, cool. You're going to do this? All right. Well, this is the requirements of the job. I need you to get rid of these illegals. I need you to secure the border. They've done both of those. Phenomenal. Okay, yeah, but you got to stop spending money. You can't waste my money over here on these wars. You can't do this stuff. Oh, there's a problem. Because I need to keep spending money. No. Part of the agreement was that you would not do this. And absolutely, the most transparent administration was trying to hide the number one thing he ran on. Releasing JFK, MLK, and the other files. And they had a struggle. Now, I broke down why they did not want to release the MLK stuff. It's Black History Month, so we're not going to go into that. They actually protected Martin Luther King by not releasing his assassination files. They really did. And I'm not sure that's a horrible thing. I don't like the lying, but if people knew about him, I think that would change a lot, and it wouldn't be good. Not worth it. This is our month. Happy Black Month, everybody. Henry, happy Black Month. G. Will. TP. Okay, so let's get off of that. But you ran on releasing that stuff, and then you fought against it, which is weird. And then you said there was nothing there, and then you released 3 million of nothing. What's up, Dantana? Like, what are you doing? And then you want to blame Candace Owens for the divide on the right? No. That's not how it works. So Candace Owens, being the astute observer that she is, didn't say anything negative about Erika Kirk for a very long time, until the shortest month of the year. That's ours. Yeah, we got that. Didn't say anything about her in a negative way. Just actually pulled people off of her because they were really going almost immediately. And Erika Kirk came out and said the whole stop thing. And then they had a meeting and they talked. And then now Candace Owens found out she's been lying about quite a few things. So we're going to go over some of these lies today. And we're going to play some audio that was released to Candace and a Zoom call that was released to Candace. Why were they released to Candace? These geniuses at TPUSA, one of the executives was in an Uber. And speaking to the Uber driver said, hey, I had a person who worked for TPUSA and they don't really care for the new leadership, which would be Erika Kirk. So TPUSA execs then go and start interrogating employees about, hey, were you in Uber? Well, we can't have people bashing Erika Kirk to Uber drivers. And they just start firing people. And I've heard different numbers. It's between 15 and 40 employees were fired from TPUSA because somebody heard through an Uber that people don't like the new leadership, or not. I don't even know if it was that they don't like them. They just didn't care for them. So you could be indifferent, and TPUSA is going to be sensitive. But it could have also been the Uber driver just wanting to spark up conversation when they found out the guy worked for TPUSA. I don't even remember what executive it was. I just found it to be funny that you're firing people for either being indifferent or just not liking leadership. Most employees don't like leadership. Most of them. Now, I'm such a great leader. Most of my employees always loved me. But the ones who hated me were really bad ones. But the good ones, they all love me. But that's, how can you hate me? Anyway, so they just started firing people. So when they started firing people, those people started leaking more information to Candace Owens. They thought that these were the leaks. They thought they got rid of the leaks. All they did was open the floodgates. So they're like, well, this person must be leaking stuff to Candace. We'll fire them. And now you fire them. And now those people really start releasing information to her. And now she's got audio from private calls. She's got video from Zoom calls. And she's getting more tips than she was before they started firing random people. And it was kind of sad. I mean, I've terminated people like that. There's reasons why you terminate people the way they were terminated. But they brought people in, and it's in Arizona. I fired a lot of people in Arizona. It's an at-will state, so you don't have to give them a reason. We used to anyway, because it was a large corporation, and it's an easier way to avoid any kind of lawsuits. But they would bring people in the office and just say, hey, this is your last day. You're going to get your pay check. Depending on the state, you have to pay. Some people you have until the end of that day to pay them. Some people you have till their next pay period when they were going to get paid anyway. And you let them go. And people are always going to ask why. They didn't give a reason. They just said, we're going to escort you out and you're done here. One of the girls recorded that happen. And again, that's normal, but to see it, it's like, especially from TPUSA, who had these meetings where Erika called them all family and said she loves them, and they all have a job with her. But anyway, let's go back to the lies. I link all of these videos and these content creators in my description because they give some really, really, really good information. So let's start watching some of the lies, and it's wild. But actually, there's one. Actually, I have a slide first. So these are the ones that Candace Owens came up with. Mikey McCoy with the blood all over him. Rob McCoy went up and did a full sermon on how great his son is. This is a Christian church. It's insane. He went and did a sermon about the assassination of his friend, Charlie Kirk, and how brave his son was and how he was going to pick up the mantle and run with it. Didn't happen that way, but these are some of the things that Candace Owens came up with. These are some of the lies that she caught. Now, everybody online is saying she never gives any evidence. She doesn't prove anything. She's never brought anything to the table that we didn't already know. So these are the things that she put forward, saying, wait a minute. Did Mikey McCoy have blood on him? No. Video came out that before Charlie even hit the ground, he was already gone. So it was obviously a lie. So what happened? Rob McCoy had to back off of that and say, oh, well, no, I thought I misunderstood. I thought he had blood on him. I thought he became the general and started pointing where everybody needed to go. The reality is he took off. He didn't even wait for Charlie to get to his vehicle. He just took off. He was on the phone the whole time. Number two, verified lies was Charlie was a committed evangelical who only liked Catholic architecture. For some reason, when Candace said that he seemed to be, gravitating towards Catholicism, Alex Clark and Andrew Clovet did a Charlie Kirk show. Ironically, they still call it the Charlie Kirk show. Really weird. And they said, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. And it's like that was a weird thing to lie about. But they pointed out that no, he only went there because he liked the buildings. But then it came out through Erika Kirk and through text messages of him leaving the Israeli cause and questioning Zionism overall, and then being attacked and pressured by them, that he actually was going to mass. I think he was wearing a necklace, a St. Michael necklace. That's not something that evangelicals do. So he was clearly embracing some of the Catholic traditions. The third lie was Charlie's neck stopped the 30-06 bullet. Didn't happen. Did not happen. That was just silly. But then they found out that Erika was the one who created that narrative while speaking to the doctor to justify in her head something pretty horrific that she was hearing. The doctor said, he got shot in the neck, and she wanted to know about the bullet, and he really just went with what she said. And she was like, "Oh, so you mean the bullet never came out because he had a super neck, or he was so healthy?" And that narrative was literally tweeted by Andrew Clovet, or I think it was Andrew Clovet, tweeted that that's what happened. That's the official narrative now going forward. Obviously, that was a lie. A lot of people proved that was a lie, and that's another lie. Number four, Charlie never blinked in his support for Israel. So what did Candace have to do? She had to leak messages of him saying he's leaving the Israeli cause, and they still denied it. But clearly, his support blinked, because he literally said, "I have to leave the pro-Israel cause, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause." So clearly, he had his support blinked. But who started that narrative? Bibi Netanyahu, the guy that I just showed you guys him saying, "That guy's not. He's no good." But they got along after that. So what do? Bibi Netanyahu gets on TV, shows a letter from May, saying how, of Charlie Kirk saying that, how he supports Israel and all that. Doesn't show anything about through August or the text messages where he says, "I'm done." So that was another lie. It was an obvious lie. Josh Hammer is another one who said, no, he never blinked. I was just talking to him. By the way, here's my book. Charlie says it's a great book. Everyone should buy it. Sick. Sick. Number five, Mikey McCoy called his father first. We found out that wasn't true. He called his wife. Then he called his father. Then he called Erika, or either Erika then. Either way, he didn't call his father first. His father said, within a minute, I was on the phone with him. He had blood all over his shirt. Outright lie. And he preached that, which is wild to me. Number six, Terrell he lied and said that the reason why he pulled the SD cards because the police told him to do it. Well, police would never do that. They would not just give somebody chain of custody over evidence. So that was a lie. And then he changed it to he didn't want anybody stealing. So two lies by Terrell. And Terrell is the guy who also, I believe Terrell's the one who went around the corner while they were rolling Charlie past. He was pronouncing him dead, just standing there doing a selfie video, a TikTok video. Weird behavior. But according to him originally, police told him to do it. That was a lie. He was doing it because people were stealing. That was a lie. And he still has it. But don't worry. Police have a copy of it. Like, you can just really walk onto a crime scene and do what you want. Step on the chair that the guy was sitting on as he was shot. Okay, whatever. Number eight, Ben Shapiro and Kirk never had bad blood between them. Again, Candace Owens proved that to be a lie. She showed text messages of Charlie Kirk mocking him. And they just, it was a lie. It's a flat out lie. Number nine, Charlie establishing Doge was not unusual. TPUSA had financially audited, I think it's supposed to say every year since its inception. They found out that was a lie because she released the actual letter of him calling for a Doge effort. Can't say Doge audit, or they'll send you a cease and desist. Tyler Boyer just lied. Weird. Number 10, Mikey McCoy was a hero. That's how everyone promoted it. That's going back to his father and that original sermon about his son at the pulpit was calling him a hero and a general, and he was leading. Those were all verifiable lies that anybody who says Candace Owens has never exposed anything, just those are 10 verifiable things. But this young lady, I think her name is, I don't want to disrespect her. Her name is Nisi. I believe her name is Nisi. She did a phenomenal job. She's going to start talking about Erika Kirk and some of her lies. They're very strange lies that don't make any sense. So just so you know.
For the record, this is what Erika Kirk has said about her dating history.
Here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie.
So when she says I never dated here, she was in New York for 5 years. So she, according to her, she did not date for 5 years while she was in New York. Apparently, she's been living all over the world. But anyway.
There with her scary ass eyes and lied through her teeth. The audacity is truly astonishing. Erika's statement is what I will be referring to as incompatible with reality, because the reality is she had many boyfriends, including within the 5-year time period that she referred to in that town hall. According to what I could find on the internet, Erika and Charlie Kirk claimed that they first decided that they were going to date back in September of 2018. The official story is that despite running multiple businesses, Erika met up with Charlie for a job interview at Bill's Burgers, and after grilling her for over 3 hours, he decided that he didn't want to hire her because he wanted to date her.
I don't need the job, but did I get it? What's going on? And he goes, I'm not going to hire you. It's like, okay, well, thank goodness I didn't need the job because I'm already doing stuff here in Manhattan. He goes, I'm going to date you.
So they began dating in September of 2018. September 2018 minus 5 years gives you September 2013. So according to Erika, between September of 2013 and September of 2018, she didn't date anybody. Back in 2013, Erika Kirk, or rather Erika Fronsby, because that's her maiden name, was dating a basketball player named Joshua Harrelson. Joshua Harrelson's Twitter handle is @BigGeorge55. That is a crazy Twitter handle. Anyways, how do I know this? How do I know that they dated? Well, despite Erika deleting all of her old posts and pictures and privating her old accounts.
And that's another weird thing. Why would she do that? She just went back and scrubbed everything. I've never had to do that. Unless there's something on there that you don't want people to see. Like, so I could say, okay, if I'm going to run for office, maybe I should. There's some things that I've said that can probably derail everything. But she's not running for office or anything. She just got married. It's weird that people would do that with no motive.
Many people commented underneath her posts, and those comments underneath her posts are still visible on Twitter. For example, this tweet from November 11th, 2013, @Erika Fronsby @BigGeorge55. It's the best when it's like that. Everything is just practice until the one. There's also this tweet from July 24th of 2013, @Erika Fronsby @BigGeorge55. This pic brought tears to my eyes. Amazing view, amazing life, and amazing couple. This tweet from April 7th, 2013, @Erika Fronsby @BigGeorge55. Sweet ring. There's also this post from January of 2013, @Erika Fronsby @BigGeorge55. You two are adorbs. He must really like you to paint pots with you. But there are tons of posts from 2012 to 2013 where people are calling them a cute couple. Even the sports league that Big Jorts plays for posted pictures of Erika calling her the first lady, like this one from November of 2013 and this one from January 2014. So she was definitely dating this guy, and their relationship appears to have taken place between 2012 and early 2014. Not too long after she ended her relationship with the basketball player Joshua Harrelson, she went on to date a baseball player named Joseph Tyler Massey, aka Tyler Massey, aka JT Massey. I found this picture from May 2014 where they made a pillow fort with some blankets. There's this article from Arizona Foothills Magazine published in November of 2014 where they interviewed Erika about her life, and she point blank called Tyler Massey her boyfriend. Quote,
What's really weird is none of this would even mean anything if she didn't just make up a lie. Like, why would you just make up a lie like that? It's such a dumb lie. It's inconsequential to anything. But she was trying to show how she was presenting herself to align herself with somebody or the type of person that would get a guy like a Charlie Kirk. So she painted herself as holier than thou. She even said, I'm not trying to say I'm holier than thou. Yeah, you kind of are. I haven't dated for 5 years. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I'm trying to align myself to find a high caliber man like a Charlie Kirk. So she just lied. Why? What's the point of this? None of this would matter. The problem is you're on the internet. People like this young lady are going to go dig and they're going to find stuff. And then what do you do when you get caught lying? So what they're doing now is they're all on X, pushing a narrative. What difference does it make if she dated? Well, she lied. That's the difference. It's not that she dated. Nobody cares. Nobody would care. But you lied. And I've told the story 1,000 times. I went to a new location at a place I used to work. I caught somebody steal a burrito. Sounds so dumb, but it was like a 99-cent, $2 at the most burrito. And I fired him. And everybody got mad at me because I fired somebody. Like, really? Maybe he just forgot to pay for it. But he didn't pay for it. And I fired him. Turned out he had stole tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff from that location. Nobody knew. This was like my first day or second day. First week for sure. Oh man, you just fired one of the more, like, everybody loved the guy. Well, he was a thief. And if you're going to steal something that small, you're definitely going to, if you get an opportunity, you're definitely going to steal on a much larger scale. Same thing with lying. If you're going to lie and just make up something about not dating anybody for 5 years before you meet a guy, and then they find out you not only did you date one, but you dated another, possible engagement with another, and then you dated one of his friends before you dated him, all within the 5 years. And it's even worse, but I'm gonna let her tell the story.
5:30 p.m. happy hour with my favorite human and best friend, JT Massey, also conveniently enough, my incredible boyfriend, talking about everything from his date at the baseball field to the latest with his music group, Saving Southern. There are these photos from Scottsdale, Arizona magazine, which features a picture of Erika and Tyler Massey. This magazine was published in March of 2015. Around the same time, she took these photos with her boyfriend, Tyler. And how is she doing this with her hands? What in the Cirque du Soleil is this? There's this post from March of 2015, and then this photo, which is also from March of 2015, which looks like it could have been an engagement photo shoot. After this relationship ended, it seems as though Erika dated someone else with an interesting tattoo, Cabot Phillips, who has the word pizza tattooed on the inside of his lip. This picture was posted to his Instagram page in October of 2019, and the caption says, "Good to give yourself a little reminder sometimes." So I'm not going to elaborate too much on what pizza symbolizes, but in case you're unaware, it involves people doing bad things to people of school age. It has been alleged that politicians, including Barack Obama, were involved in a scandal with pizza. So it is weird for someone, especially someone who is involved in politics and would know what pizza means, would then tattoo that word on the inside of their lip and give it.
And it's even worse than that. So if you guys don't know what she's talking about, this goes back to the files that I was talking about earlier. That somebody else called them the Einstein files. Very similar. It's directly related to that. And it involves the exact same stuff that guy was doing with children, with minors and with children. So from teens all the way down to as young as and disgusting as your mind can get, where they were literally peddling children. And they were coding the words so that it wasn't obvious. They were using food. And there was a pizza shop. I'm not going to keep going into it, but why would you get that tattooed anywhere on you when everybody in politics knew what that was? Everyone. It's weird.
In the accusations made against Erika and her Romanian Angels charity, it's not entirely shocking that she would end up dating someone who would tattoo the word pizza on the inside of their lip.
You were dating this guy, Cabot Phillips, and here he is posting you guys on his public page saying, yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. Again, this is a year before you started dating Charlie, and well within the 5-year period you claim to have never dated anyone, but you were out here dissing your roommate for dating.
I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go, I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
And why are you here drinking and dating on a reality show that actually was filmed the year you met Charlie? So you obviously were dating. So I'm not understanding your timeline. I mean, you're talking to a guy here who's asking you out on a date and you're taking his number? And here you are on your date.
I've honestly spent the majority of my life being one of the most sought-after bachelors. But I'm just really excited to spend some one-on-one time with Erika. I really do like her, and I'm excited to get to know her a little bit more.
Erika? Hello? Wait, isn't Cabot Phillips your ex-boyfriend? Why is he now the speaker of Turning Point USA?
That is the weirdest thing of all. And this goes back to that Fort Huachuca thing. Huachuca. The Fort Huachuca thing. People say they saw her. She never sent that alibi to Candace. She sent 2, but she covered who she was texting about while they were together. Cabot Phillips is her ex, the one with the pizza tattoo. 3 or 4 weeks after Charlie was assassinated on television, she hired her ex to work for TPUSA. That's weird. That is, I mean, not only did she hire him to come work for TPUSA, but he works for Daily Wire, for Ben Shapiro. There are some things here that are just naturally going to make somebody say, you hired your ex to do a program called How to Lead Like Your Dead Husband? You hired him to do this? That's, in and of itself, that alone should draw criticisms and have everyone saying, oh, like that's wild. You literally hired your ex to speak on your husband who just got unalived a month before. How to lead like my ex-girlfriend's assassinated husband.
Leading speeches of how to lead like Charlie. What's going on, Erika?
Stop.
He's also the senior editor for the Daily Wire, the one outlet that your husband was having active beef with at the time, connected to Netanyahu. So
Stop.
Right. So what else are you lying about? Because you're a liar.
Wild.
Point blank period. You are a liar.
It wasn't mentioned in that clip, but while Cabot was dating Erika, he was also hanging out with Charlie. At some point, Cabot and Erika's relationship ended, and in May of 2018, Charlie goes to Jerusalem, and so does Erika.
I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line, and I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. Nothing is by coincidence.
Fast forward to September of 2018, Erika and Charlie start dating, and she would go on to hold him hostage to take these cringy photos for her clothing line, Proclaim. These photos are so awkward. Does anyone care that Erika dated men before Charlie? No, we care that she lied about it. She is selling a false image of herself to the public, despite the fact that her life is very well documented online. And someone who would lie so brazenly about who they have dated is likely lying about other things.
Firstly, raise your hand if you started a nonprofit, okay? What about one for orphans? And then what about one for orphans in foreign countries?
So this is another guy. His channel is Scooper of Coop. His name is Coop, and this video is very interesting. So he's going through her life also. But already, listen to what he said already. Like, it's already like, how many people do that? How many people are capable or have the knowledge or have the experience to do something like this?
Is very well documented online. And someone who would lie so brazenly about who they have dated is likely lying about other things.
Firstly, raise your hand if you started a nonprofit, okay? What about one for orphans? And then what about one for orphans in foreign countries? And then on top of that, you did it at the age of 17. Okay, so now that no one's hand is left in the air, I'm gonna be the bad guy for the first of many times in this video and say, I don't think that this story is 100% true as to how it happened. I do believe the nonprofit is real. I just don't believe it was solely Erika Kirk and the goal of helping orphans. And that's not too hard to get behind, because if we look into Everyday Heroes, they have a program known as Romanian Angels. Romanian Angels was a group of Americans who went over to Romania to help children in orphanages over there, giving them things like Christmas presents and clothing and some essentials. But if you're Romanian or aware of Romania and American relations, you might know that Romanians aren't really comfortable with Americans in foreign assistance, because it hasn't gone well in the past. In a region located in the southeast of Romania, which also happens to be close to where this orphanage is located, there's an American military base. It's technically NATO, but let's be honest, we foot the bill for the whole squad. And the base is named Mihail, or however you say this word in Romanian, and it's been embroiled in controversy for many years. In fact, since its inception, it's had a terrible reputation with the locals, with involvement in crimes from drugs and weapons trafficking to things that are even worse, like human and child trafficking. Most specifically, the trafficking of local Romanian children for their usage in an on-base brothel where high-ranking military officials and other wealthy folks will go and do the most deplorable things to kids. Some of these children having been sold to the base, some of them having been stolen from the surrounding areas. This long history of this behavior came to a head when a former translator at the base named Anna Maria Nuciu came out and said that the man in charge of the base, Colonel Otto Buscher, had been in charge of stealing and selling these kids and pricing them and arranging some interactions, we'll call them. And we know this because she gathered a series of messages and even a DVD, all of which have been taken except for a couple screenshots. But all this information was acquired, and it discussed the things like the prices of children and places for them to be and apartments where they were going to meet for these behaviors. Yeah, awful stuff like that. And the way Anna got a hold of this information is because a computer came into her possession when hers stopped working, and the previous owner for whom she was borrowing it from was evidently kind of a troglodyte, it would seem, and he didn't delete the evidence that was on there, and it was sitting in word processors and emails on the computer, as well as other repositories. Literally all she had to do was open it up, and she was like, oh my goodness, they're selling kids. It's undeniable that it's happened, and it's also been covered up. And we know that it's been covered up because we have almost none of the materials except for these couple of screenshots that Anna managed to get. How Erika Kirk and her ministry is related to this, though, I'm going to make a long story as short as possible. The orphanage Erika was working with was in a very similar region to where the military base is located, and in addition to that, more incriminatingly, Erika's nonprofit released a YouTube video, and I'm going to play a segment of it on screen for you guys, and obviously the audio has been removed for copyright reasons.
And these are my little angels from Antonio Placement Center in Constanța, Romania. Our goal with the Romanian Angels Project was to show these children the true American heart during the holiday season. And what better way to do that than having our United States military personally deliver the gifts?
Seems relatively normal, besides the weird voiceover that I hope I was able to show you guys. But what's undeniable is that to make an event like this possible would require some serious connections. And so Erika goes on to thank some of the people involved in making this orphanage and American assistance connection work, and references one specific man by the name of Colonel Otto Buscher, III to be precise. Buscher is about as rotten as they come. He was mentioned previously as the one that this translator called out very specifically as being in charge and being the ringleader for this child trafficking and trafficking ring. And this would then mean that Erika's organization was in direct contact with a fellow.
Well, I had to bleep out some of the stuff because certain things you can't say. What's up, Burn Slots? Certain things you can't say. But you're getting the gist of who Otto Buscher is.
Who is being accused by countless children and Romanians as being involved in these illicit operations involving children. And so with all that in mind, I must ask why Erika Kirk went to this specific man who is known to be involved in massive organized child trafficking rings to help her bring gifts to a foreign orphanage for foreign children while being a child herself. After all, like most of you, I can count on 0 fingers and toes how many international child traffickers I know, and I also can assure you that I would never go to that person for help with a child-related matter. And if somehow, in all honesty, I didn't know that someone I had worked with in the past was a PDF file and an international child trafficker, when I did find out that they were such a evil individual, I would denounce them publicly, especially when I have a massive public presence and could even get him strung up since I am buddy-buddy, or in some cases, very buddy-buddy, as one might say, with the President and Vice President of the United States. In fact, I would say this would especially be the case if I, being Erika Kirk, claimed to be so dedicated to the service of children around the world. And it's not like Erika Kirk doesn't keep up with videos like this on her and these references to her past, as she has made jokes about the Egyptian plains and other occurrences in speeches. So until I see her push for a man as demonic as Otto Buscher to be arrested and strung up, I'm going to suspect the worst. Because who would be silent on such a matter if you really love kids and want the best for them?
And it's not just that. I'm going to show you guys something here real quick, because I made a post about this on X. It's not just Otto. There's another guy who she's currently touring with. Let me pull this down. I'll make this larger. I find it super odd that the Ben Shapiro, Dinesh D'Souza, Tim Pool, Alex Jones, Ashley Stuckey, or what's her name? Whatever her name is, Stuckey, whatever her name is, and other influences guilt friends or acquaintances of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens to denounce them. But none have asked the grieving Miss Erika Kirk to do the same for Otto Buscher, who's that guy who's been accused by many of trafficking, and Greg Laurie. Greg Laurie is who she's currently touring with right now on the, what is it, Make Heaven Full? I don't know, I forgot what it's called. Make Heaven Crowded tour? I think that's what it is. Share this tab instead. He's got several allegations of him, and this is a pastor. Negligence claims he's got 12 lawsuits currently against him, with lawyers expecting the number to increase. This is Greg Laurie, the guy she's on tour with right now. Right now. Court documents allege that in 2004, other ministries investigated and informed Harvest of the abuse, yet the church continued to support the home for years. This guy has had issues going on for years, over a decade, and she's on tour with him right now. She's on tour with this guy, Greg Laurie, right now. He's facing 125 lawsuits alleging negligence and a 20-year cover-up of child SA in that orphanage. Like, that's wild. This is another one. So you have Otto Buscher, the guy that she's good with, and then you have this guy, Greg Laurie. Make Heaven crowded. 2 weeks ago, he did a speech. Like, how is this possible? How can she not understand what's going on? Like, let me see. Doesn't have his name on here. But his speech, full speech, you can see it's on their website, on their YouTube. I'm not playing this loser, but that's him.
I was 17 years.
That's the guy. Look at it. Says Pastor Greg Laurie's full speech at Make Heaven Crowded tour 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago. 12 days ago. This guy is with Erika Kirk on stage. This guy, who is facing 125 serious lawsuits alleging negligence and a 20-year cover-up of child SA and in a Romanian orphanage, supported by his church. This is wild. Wild. And I can't even argue with Burn Slots when he, are you a male or female? I don't want to misgender. I can't argue with Burn Slots when they say, oh, she knows what's going on. She knows the MAGA cult will support anything, even child, what we're seeing. How do I argue with that if she's on stage with the guy? How can I argue with that? I can't. Nobody's saying anything about it. Nobody said, hey, Erika, it's not a good look to be up there with a child rapist. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Now, he's innocent until proven guilty. Unless you're Tyler Robinson, then you're guilty, 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 guilty. But Erika, you probably don't want this guy on stage talking about making heaven crowded, and he's a pastor when he's got 125 lawsuits. Not a good idea. Not a good look. But then anyone points this out, they're called demonic by the right. I can't disagree with Burn Slots. What am I supposed to say when they're actively covering this up? It's pretty clear to me. Nobody's saying anything about this. And if you do, you're called demonic. She's a grieving widow. You can't say anything about Erika Kirk. Really? I can.
So unlike what the mainstream slopaganda might tell you, it's a little more than a case of in the wrong place at the wrong time when it comes to Erika Kirk and her time in Romania.
8 days after his public assassination, she sits down for a peace.
So now she's going to go through some of the lies. And I've already showed you guys her original list of 10.
With the publication that hated Charlie the entire time he was alive. New York Times was constantly writing hit pieces about Charlie Kirk, or pieces that just were not kind or favorable to Charlie Kirk. So it's an interesting decision. And reading the article, or rereading, because somebody said you should actually go back and revisit everything that transpired in the days after, and you kind of have new eyes, and that's very true.
This is a crazy
reading that
timeline.
article in retrospect, something that I am particularly struck by is the fact that she describes suddenly being forced into the single mother position as the quote unquote least traumatizing thing. Becoming a single mother suddenly, 8 days later, she describes that as the least traumatizing thing. Again, that's an exact quotation. I'll read it. You can see it. They're going into this. They're speaking about Trump's energy and his tone toward her on phone calls. And it reads, quote, from her, the president's tone, she said, was soft and embracing. I could tell he wanted to hug me. Others have responded in the same manner to Ms. Kirk, now left to care for a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. That new life, Ms. Kirk said, quote, is actually the least traumatizing thing for me, since she herself has been raised by her mother after their parents divorced when she was young.
But even that, how narcissistic do you have to be to say that's the least traumatizing thing for me? But you have 2 toddlers. You have 2 babies. And they're his kids. I keep seeing people say, oh, Candace Owens is trying to destroy Charlie's legacy. When they're talking about TPUSA, that's not his legacy. His legacy are his children. His legacy are his children. Nobody's destroying his children. They're asking Erika Kirk, hey, how is that the least traumatizing thing for you? And why do you have 30 dates scheduled through November of this year already to be out on stage somewhere? When you agreed with Charlie Kirk that the best place for a mother of small children until they're developed is at home, developing them. So they lost their father, and now they're losing their mother, apparently, because she's got to be an entrepreneur. She's got to boss up. What? That is the exact opposite of everything he's ever said. And she was there talking to him about it. So just because they lose him doesn't mean they should lose her too. But apparently, the money, the fundraising, and being a CEO is more important. This is hilarious. Burn slots. Again, I don't know if you're a male or female, so I don't want to say ma'am or sir. She hardly ever leaves the house. You understand? All of her show is done in her home. Her kids are in the next room. Her husband is at home always, and she homeschools. So if she does an appearance, that's like a once every 5-month type of deal. She doesn't do it. When she has guests on her show, they come to her house. That's where her studio is. So she is literally at home with her kids all the time. She's the one schooling them. Not the same. Not the same as traveling the country and then going to Israel and standing on stage with people, standing next to perverts, trying to get people to convert to Christian Zionism, whatever that is, that doesn't even exist. That's what Erika Kirk's priorities is, apparently.
And we're just supposed to pretend that that's completely normal or whatever. I would figure maybe the least traumatizing bit would be something more mundane, maybe along the lines, if this was a thing, if Charlie constantly filled up her gas tank and someone was like, well, who's going to fill up your gas tank? She might reply, that's actually the least traumatizing thing. I don't even care about that. That's just me filling up my car. That would be like.
Hey, speaking of that, sidebar. If you really want to make your wife happy, fill up her gas tank. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. My wife absolutely loves that I do that. I don't know. Just a sidebar. Relationship advice. Men, don't have your wife going to the gas station filling up her own tank. Don't do that. But apparently that's like she really loves it. I'm like, oh, okay. That's in her house, burn slots. All of that is in her house. She's had quite a few guests who come in here and they say, you have a beautiful home. You set all this up in your house. Like that's her house. Now, when she was at Daily Wire, she was on set. When she was at PragerU, she was on set. But since she's been gone from Daily Wire in the last 3 years, and since she's had her kids, it's all in her house.
The least traumatizing thing. Becoming a single mother after your husband is horrifically assassinated, realizing that your children are going to grow up without a father who toured the world and spoke about the importance of fatherhood and relayed the statistics pertaining to the youth that grow up without their fathers in the home, I would describe that as very traumatizing. I think across the board, that's a traumatizing thing, not the least traumatizing thing by any stretch of an imagination. So we have this on the 10th, he's assassinated. On the 18th, it's that in-person interview with New York Times. On the 20th, we have the funeral mass, which is held at a church at 11 a.m. On the 21st is the public memorial event that is held at State Farm Stadium. And on the 22nd, which I had not mentioned before, I've been building this timeline in the background, there's a private dinner. Not going to mention what restaurant it's at, but the McCoys are there, Elizabeth, Mikey, Erika, and they're in joyous spirits, is exactly what the email said of someone who was there. They were in joyous spirits. I do want to remind you that Charlie has not been dead for 2 weeks. That's where we have to go back to.
All right.
Not even 2 weeks.
So now, one of those people who was fired for no reason, or at least not given the reasons they were fired, gave Candace audio. So that it's going to be audio and then a whole different call on video. This is the audio that she received.
After Charlie was publicly assassinated. Not a normal, he didn't, we had to watch this. We had to visually watch this. Now, the entirety of this call, which we're not going to play, is 15 minutes long. I'm going to figure out how to just drop it on my X feed. But I want to make sure that we properly and fairly contextualize it. So we're not being choosy. We're not cutting this for drama. The obvious point of this call to set this up is to introduce Erika. She's a new leader. Not even introducing, she's just heading up this call, but obviously she's going to be at the helm of this. So they're getting to know her. And she does begin the call by being thankful to the entire Turning Point USA team for their work at the memorial event. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Burn Slots. I appreciate you. I really do. I'm not like hostile to you. Why don't you just sub up? You can't subscribe to my channel? Come on, man. You're here anyway. Or ma'am, sir. You're here anyway. Why don't you sub up? Can you guys hit like for me, please? Please. I just thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. How are you gonna be in my lives, several lives, and not even sub up? That's not nice. That's not cool. The least you could do is that. I'm not, I mean, we just disagree. We're not fighting. We're not here arguing.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these.
This is the call.
Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like it's just insane.
I'm already annoyed because she just said she's excited or glad they were able to pull off an event of the century. The event is her husband's funeral, his memorial. That's what she's talking about. And she's saying it and she's laughing. Now, this is 12 days, I think, or this is 12 days afterward. This is 12 days after her husband was shot in front of all of us. That's wild to me that she's calling it an event. That's wild to me. I've never supported Trump. Trump supported me. I voted for him. Absolutely. I guess if you want to consider making YouTube videos and trying to promote what he said he was going to do, absolutely. Burn Slots. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see that. Burn Slots asked if I support Trump. No, he was supposed to support me and do what I put him in office to do, and he's not doing all of it. He's only doing really 2 of the things. He's not draining the swamp. He fought against the, can't call it by name, but the files. He fought against releasing them and dismissed that. And we're still funneling money to Israel and Ukraine. I don't like any of that. So hope that answers your question. But her husband is gone, and she's giggling to start out this conference call. This is her introduction. This is her introduction to TPUSA and all the employees. I don't support. What are you talking about? That's the reason why I don't. That's the reason why I'm done. What are you talking about? I'm not even gonna put that up. That's silly. I support that. Yeah, okay. Okay. I just gave you the reason why I have an issue with it. Anyway. He just was taken from her. And this is her being introduced to her employees.
Point USA team for their work at the memorial event. So let's take a listen.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji
I
Zoom
love the emojis.
things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like it's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, was it 100 million? You guys that heard the gospel and all about Charlie and all about everything that you guys do and the hard work of Turning Point USA is insane. We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think we're at.
Her mom did some geo-tracking. That's how she knows that there was 275,000 people. They took all of their cell phone information. Who knows if they sold it, but they spied on everyone there. That's how they know the exact number. They got all their data, and they bragged about it. I think it was Tyler Boyer. One of them bragged about it. Yeah, we were able to we were able to geo-fence everyone there. And what? And like, I think we have like over 200,000 for merch sales. She's talking about her husband's funeral, his memorial service. She's talking about it as if it were a regular TPUSA event. She's laughing about emojis. To me, this is wild. Okay, I'm gonna let it play. I apologize. Stadium overflow, event of the century. It's your husband. He's gone. Anyway, sorry. All right, I'm gonna let it play through before I start, because this is
Point USA team for their work at the memorial event. So let's take a listen.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like it's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, was it 100 million?
Jeez, this is cringe.
You guys that heard the gospel and all about Charlie and all about everything that you guys do and the hard work of Turning Point USA is insane. We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that, because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal. Their incredible work leading into the memorial. And honestly, a lot of the staff that worked on the memorial, they had 20-hour days for a week during the time of us grieving the loss of my husband. And honestly, I know several staff that didn't even sleep. Again, you guys are breathing angels, and I'm so grateful for all of you. And obviously a huge thank you to the Mosaic team. VI, you guys are 10 out of 10. Like we have the most incredible team. We just do. And you guys know that, and you guys are all a part of that. And I'm so thankful. And if you do have a moment and you run into any of those staff members that you know had a role in this, and you know that they put a lot of their time and effort into it, just say thank you. There's something really special to be seen in moments like this, and it's not easy. I'm speaking from experience. I'm right in the trenches with you guys. And so the fact that you just, a simple thank you. I don't care if any of you have beef with each other from the past or have any issues with someone said something about this or that. Like, if you guys have any of that, please put it to rest. My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. And It puts life into perspective of how short life is, and relationships, and God puts people in your life for a reason, and it teaches you a lesson, it teaches them a lesson. So if you are going through a time where just lay it to rest. And we are moving forward, Turning Point USA 2.0 with Charlie in our hearts, and that's what he would want. I'm just grateful that while things were still in motion and moving around, that we had our leadership teams provide for you counselors, pastors. I heard there were therapy dogs. Slightly jealous that I didn't get to have any moment with a therapy dog. Breakfast. Wow. I was really adamant about making sure that we paid for your flights for your spouses to be there. That was something on my heart. You don't want to grieve alone. No one's supposed to grieve alone. It's not healthy. But I just think it's a beautiful honor that all of these benefits were made for the community to grieve and remember Charlie. And I really hope you took advantage of those in a healthy way when they were provided, because it's meant to be for everyone for healing. Grief comes in waves. Some days are going to be tougher than others, but take it as it comes. And that's why you have your Turning Point family, and just lean on them and lean on other people in your life that will help you and pour into you and pray with you to get you through it. I say that though, that if you do need more time to grieve, please continue to use Turning Point USA's network of counselors. We have pastors. There are so many resources for you. If you do need additional time off, please talk to your director about using paid time off for that. And again, it's not easy, but again, grief is hard. Otherwise, honestly, Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action.
All right. Let me play this through, and then I'm gonna go back through and point by point tell you what I'm thinking.
Team ahead, you guys. We have Charlie would want us to get back to work, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we did with the memorial. And I'm so honored and proud of each and every one of you, because that's what we're going to do in his honor and in his name. We have so much to do, which is exciting. Charlie in heaven is like, you guys thought you had a busy schedule, then just you wait. And he's doing some awesome things with Jesus in heaven right now. But there's so much work to be done. Since his assassination, we have 100,000 chapter requests. We have 300,000 new donors. That is a blessing in itself. Again, not normal. All God. I think we have 50,000 plus hat orders to fulfill. I'm saying these numbers because it puts into perspective that we're not just sitting and thinking and looking at the wall being like, what do we do? Like that, there is so much to do. You have over 20,000 AmFest registrations. The prophetic mind of my husband was that he always planned for the future. You guys are obviously aware of Vision 2025, but Charlie was also working on Vision 2030 in the weeks leading up to September 10th. And he was working really closely with Justin. And that's why Justin had been appointed the role of COO, because he was literally, I remember phone calls when Charlie and I would take our night walks, and it would be 10 o'clock at night, and him and Justin would just be talking about the plans. I was aware of the plans. I have his journals that are aware of the plans. There is no confusion of what's to come. And I want to give you guys that reassurance that it's full steam ahead. And the board and I are working with Justin and the executive leadership teams to make sure that all of those plans come into effect 2030 and beyond. But I, again, am so grateful for all of you. I'm so proud of all of you. You honor my husband so well. All of you do. And it's weird to say I'm excited. I really hesitate saying that. It's really hard for me to say that. It's a really weird thing to say. But I think it comes from a space of peace, knowing that God's using this and we're humbly witnessing the gospel in real time.
So
no. Before she says anything, there's so much there that I'm like, this is not normal. I've conducted these calls. I've been on large corporation calls, and she's acting as this is just a normal event that they held, a successful event. She's talking about merch, but this is insane. She's talking about her husband's death and the event that was memorializing him. And the first thing she does is talk about how cute emojis are. And this is, I think she said 12 days after her husband was taken from her and her kids.
Point USA team for their work at the memorial event. So let's take a listen.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off
This is
an event
horrible.
of a century, like it's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, was it 100 million? You guys that heard the gospel and all about Charlie and all about everything that you guys do and the hard work of Turning Point USA is
Like, that's the only part that I would have left in there. Everything else she said is like, whoa, what are you talking about? 100,000 people hearing the gospel. Awesome. Cool. That's no issues with that. But everything else, she's celebrating the memorial of her dead husband. This is why. And I see a lot. So there's two narratives. One is, this is weird. And the other one is, what are you guys talking about? This is normal. This is how these calls go. Yeah, for a business. And yes, she's the CEO, but her husband is the reason why they had this amazing event of the century. That's wild. That is wild.
insane. We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think.
Why would anyone bring that up? My husband was assassinated. We had 275,000 people there. We had 100,000 people, 10,000 people sign up to vote. Like, huh? There? That's what you were doing? At his memorial, you were signing people up to vote? So it wasn't about the gospel, and it wasn't about your husband. It was about continuing to raise money and get votes. Like, what? This is crazy. This is crazy. And everybody, burn slots, everyone's for this. Everyone except the people who are doing it are for this. And that's why there's a big problem on the right now. But make no mistake about it. We all know Joe Biden's history. We all know Bill Clinton's history. So this is not a left or right issue. This is a people in power issue. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't like either party. So those normal talking points don't work with me. But this is 200,000 for merch sales. Those are the freedom shirts that he was shot in. They had a tent to mimic where he was shot, so you can go take a selfie under a tent where he was shot. That's insane. And we wouldn't know this unless we were there or Candace Owens didn't talk about it, because nobody else would talk about that. Who else is going to show imagery? Like, what worse PR move can you do to say, oh, we were at Charlie's memorial, it was so sad. It was, it was uplifting because, all these people were introduced to the gospel. And then you can go to the tent where he was shot and you can take selfies. It's like, huh? Nobody else would show that because it doesn't put her in a good light. This is all about money and fundraising. This is crazy. Yeah, you want a selfie? Like, what? They'll probably get one of those spinning things, the little spinning things that play the music and they boomerang and all that, like under the tent where he was shot. Like, this is what we're doing? You realize it hasn't even been 2 weeks, right? That's your husband, lady.
We're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. Just phenomenal. Their incredible work leading into the memorial. And honestly, a lot of the staff that worked on the memorial, they had 20-hour days for a week during the time of us grieving the loss of my husband. And
right here, all of this, that's legitimate. Man, I really genuinely appreciate the work you guys put in. There's no way we could have pulled off exposing 100,000 people, going back to the gospel, exposing 100,000 people to the gospel of Christ, and in honoring my husband, because that we know for sure he would have wanted. But then you start talking about, oh, we sold so many freedom shirts. We got to fill orders for all these hats. Like, hats? Are they Charlie Kirk hats? No, they're for Trump hats. Like, so you're talking about your husband's death and his funeral, his memorial service, and you're bragging about Trump 47 hats and how many you sold. Like, that's insanity. Please, Lord, let me find out they had a chair you could sit on. Oh, I mean, this is already just ghoulish. This is horrible. And she's talking about it like this is a normal thing. Even during COVID, we had huge conference calls every week. Everyone in the company had to get on them, right? They did the same thing for BLM, but I didn't, whatever. But during COVID, it was a time to talk about, hey, you know, we understand what you guys are going through. We do thank you guys for being there. If you guys have too many people who are sick, just let your boss know, and we'll figure out how to get the employees hours somewhere else, and you got to shut down. Like, so it was more of a, hey, how are we navigating these difficult times? She's talking about the successes of the difficult times. Completely different.
Honestly, I know several staff that didn't even sleep. Again, you guys are breathing angels, and I'm so grateful for all of you. And obviously, a huge thank you to the Mosaic team. VI, you guys are 10 out of 10. Like, we have the most incredible team. We just do. And you guys know that, and you guys are all a part of that. And I'm so, so thankful.
Perfect.
And if you do have a moment and you run into any of those staff members that you know had a role in this, and you know that they put a lot of their time and effort into it, just say thank you. There's something really special to be seen in moments like this, and it's not easy. I'm speaking from experience. I'm right in the trenches with you guys. And so the fact that you just, a simple thank you. I don't care if any of you have beef with each other from the past or have any issues with someone said something about this or that. Like, if you guys have any of that, please put it to rest. My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. And
okay, so guys, you guys had some petty beefs going on. You guys were arguments while Charlie was here. It could be worse. You could be me. My husband's dead. Like, what is the point of bringing this up? What is this? All the thinking, all the you know, the teamwork, the appreciation for honoring Charlie. Again, the exposure to 100,000 people to the gospel. Beautiful, all of that. But if you guys have little petty beefs, hey, look, my husband's dead. It could be worse. Like, this is wild. This is wild. And who said, like, already right here. My father passed away in October, and it's already right here coming up. To even say the words that she did, it's right here. I can feel it. For her to be able to do this 2 weeks after her husband was shot on international TV, because everybody saw it. And then adding to that, you know, you're raising your 2 kids. They lost him. To be able to say, my husband's dead. Like, dude, how can I have a drawing of my father right here that I've been working on. And looking at it, I can feel this. Talking about it is completely different. She just said, well, my husband's dead. I can't even say those words right now. Just thinking about it, it's right here. Thinking about saying those words about my own father, it's right here. She's saying it about her husband, the father of her 2 children that she's raising right now, toddler, 1 and 3. And she's saying it like it's nothing. Like, what? How can you do that? But everybody grieves. Everybody grieves differently. In my thumbnail, I put, does everyone grieve differently? Yeah. But when somebody calls out that behavior, that changes things. So everybody knows, everybody's seen it. The person who overdoes it at a funeral, right? We all notice it. We all know it. We may not say something because it's inappropriate, right? Which is what's happening with this lady. There's a lot of people who are scared to say anything because it's inappropriate. But there's always going to be the one person who says it. Get her away from that casket. Thank you. Somebody said it. It didn't have to be me. Because it's while yes, it's inappropriate to say something, it's more inappropriate for the person to act the way they're acting, because everybody knows that's not normal. There's a normal way to behave and to grieve, especially when they're overdoing it. But when they're underdoing it, it's like, did you have something to do with this? You're just sitting there like this. And that's also not normal. And it would not be out of the norm for somebody to say, hey, are you okay? Because they see you're not, that's not normal. So we have this huge fight on the right now where apparently you're not supposed to say anything. But she's clearly not behaving the way everyone else is. And they're not even related to the guy. They don't have kids by him. She just said, hey, you guys have these little, what's up, Glock? You guys have these little petty beefs. You know, let them go. My husband's dead and I'm not beefing. Like, she forgave the guy who they're saying shot her husband. But she's sending cease and desist orders to Candace Owens. So it's okay to shoot him. But if you talk about it, I got a problem. Say, whoa, what's this? You try to say some of my employees may have known something? Cease and desist. It makes no sense. How do you forgive the guy who you think did it? You think he did it. You keep saying you know he did it. You know he did it. And you apologize to that. Or no, you don't apologize. You accept and you forgive. You forgive him. I forgive you. But Candace Owens gets a cease and desist. Glock, we're talking about the behavior of Erika Kirk after her husband's unaliving. He said Candace is bonkers but useful. We wouldn't know any of this stuff. We wouldn't have this recording. All of the lies that she's exposed, it doesn't like it's fascinating. It's fascinating. Oh, you guys can't see Glock. Sorry. That's somebody on Twitch. But Glockwork Orange says, oh, she's absolutely bonkers, but she's useful. She's the one who's willing to tell you, get away from the casket if you're doing too much at the funeral. Everyone else is thinking it, she's gonna say it. And everyone's relieved that she says it. That's it. That's what this is.
It puts life into perspective of how short life is and relationships, and God puts people in your life for a reason, and it teaches you a lesson, it teaches them a lesson. So if you are going through a time where, just lay it to rest, and we are moving forward, Turning Point USA 2.0 with Charlie in our hearts, and that's what he would want. I'm just grateful that while things were still in motion and moving around, that we had our leadership teams provide for you, counselors, pastors. I heard there were therapy dogs. Slightly jealous that I didn't get to have any moment with a therapy dog.
Therapy dogs? What's up, Miss Phoenix? Therapy dog? What do you? What's like? Oh, they're so cute. I wish I had a therapy dog while my husband was getting murdered. Like what? This whole thing is wild. The video one's even worse, but this is just—it's wild. But it's not even 2 weeks after her husband is gone, the father of her 2 baby children. And she's laughing on a conference call, trying to bring other people together and comfort them.
Breakfast. I was really adamant about making sure that we paid for your flights for your spouses to be there. That was something on my heart. You don't want to grieve alone. No one's supposed to grieve alone. It's not healthy.
Well, I mean, if you say that they were working 20-hour days, not getting any sleep, and you made $250 million, the least you could do, is not make them pay and help their family get to them if they're not with them. Like, that's the least you can do. You just bragged about how much money you made. I just think, yeah, that's, we don't want you to grieve alone.
But I just think it's a beautiful honor that all of these benefits were made for the community to grieve and remember Charlie. And I really hope you took advantage of those in a healthy way when they were provided, because it's meant to be for everyone for healing.
Not bad.
Grief comes in waves. Some days are going to be tougher than others, but
all this is fine.
take it as it comes. And that's why you have your Turning Point family, and just lean on them and lean on other people in your life that will help you and pour into you and pray with you to get you through it. I say that though, that if you do need more time to grieve, please continue to use Turning Point USA's network of counselors. We have pastors. There's so many resources for you. If you do need additional time off, please talk to your director about using paid time off.
Now that is wild. That is crazy. That is crazy. During COVID, back to COVID, they created COVID time because it's kind of hard to control if you get sick when you get sick. And some people got sick multiple times. Never once did they say, hey, by the way, use your earned PTO. Use your vacation time to mourn my husband. Like, all of this is what, like, if you don't work in a corporate setting, maybe it's not as offensive as it is if you ever have. And I've run a lot of business. I've worked in a lot of, like, to tell somebody you're grieving for, we'll take myself for example. My wife passes away. My employees loved her. They're grieving for her. I make them use their benefits to grieve for my wife. This is insane because they earned that. You earn vacation time. And she's saying, use your earned vacation time to mourn my husband. We're not going to give you any more time. What do you think? We're going to pay you for taking off? It's so beyond offensive for her to make them use their sick time to grieve her husband.
For that. And again, it's not easy, but again, grief is hard. Otherwise, honestly, Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead, you guys. Charlie would want us to get back to work, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we did with the memorial, and I'm so honored and proud of each and every one of you because that's what we're going to do in his honor and in his name. We have so much to do, which is exciting. Charlie in heaven is like, you guys thought you had a busy schedule then, just you wait. And he's doing some awesome things with Jesus in heaven right now, but there's so much.
So Charlie's in heaven, but he's saying you need to work more and harder. You think your schedules were bad before. Whew. My wife, she's really going to make you work hard. And he's dancing for you in heaven. Don't worry. This is all spiritual. This is insanity. This is full-on manipulation, trying to force people to feel guilty about not working for her. Insanity. And this is not religion. This is Glock. This is not religion. What you're hearing here, this is not religion. This is using faith, people's faith, to manipulate them. And it is absolutely gross. Absolutely gross. It's disgusting. What she's doing is this is insanity. Full on sympathy manipulation. You guys, come on, man. My husband's dead. Can't you guys get along? And if you're really grieving my husband, don't forget to put in your paid time off, because I'm not covering it. In the same conference call where she's bragging about making $250 million, merch sales, how many hats? This is wild. And anyone who does not see how wild this is, they put blinders on, or they have something. They have a soft spot for this one person, because if this were anyone else, you would be completely appalled at this. And I don't even use the word appalled, aghast, outraged. This is insanity. Insanity.
Work to be done. I mean, since his assassination, we have 100,000 chapter requests.
We're expanding.
We have 300,000 new donors.
Look at that. My husband's dead. We got more chapters. 300,000 donors. Guys, that's money. Lady, your husband is gone, and you're celebrating. This is insanity. This is insanity. 300,000 new donors.
A blessing in itself. Again, not normal. All God. I think we have
It's all God.
50,000 plus hat orders to fulfill. I mean,
She actually said, this is all God. My husband's gone, but we got more donors. This is all God. This is such a blessing. What?
all God. I think we have 50,000 plus hat orders to fulfill. I mean, I'm saying these numbers because it puts into perspective that we're not just sitting and thinking and looking at the wall being like, what do we do? Like that, there is so much to do. You have over 20,000 AmFest registrations. The prophetic mind of my husband was that he always planned for the future. You guys are obviously aware of like Vision 2025, but Charlie was also working on Vision 2030 in the weeks leading up to September 10th. And he was working really closely with Justin. And that's why Justin had been appointed the role of COO, because he was literally, I remember phone calls when Charlie and I would take our night walks and it would be 10 o'clock at night. And him and Justin would just be talking about the plans. I was aware of the plans. I have his journals that are aware of the plans. Like there is no confusion of what's to come. And I want to give you guys that reassurance that it's full steam ahead. And the board and I are working with Justin and the executive leadership teams to make sure that all of those plans come into effect.
And that's so I heard some people have an issue with that. I don't really have an issue with that because that part is the business saying, hey, you guys you still have a job, right? I don't want you to think everything's going to fall apart. So that's a reassurance thing. The 2030 and beyond, all this, the extra stuff is weird to me, but letting people know that they still have a job is not a bad thing, like, because that's the first thing that's going to come to people's mind. Who's going to be, who's going to be the new CEO? Are we just going to shut down? And Glock, I don't know how much attention you're paying. So Glockwork says he wish he had a following like Trump. That whole coalition is not in good shape right now, unless he starts arresting the swamp and taking care of the files, the e-files, and the people who are in them, and prosecuting people. It can't be a cult if you see this much division right now. They're literally trying to blame this. Like, so you're a Democrat. That's fine. You guys are in really good shape right now. But on the right, we shouldn't be worried about what Candace Owens is saying. We should be worried about why Trump is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. That's what we should be focused on. And that's all of, oh, you're a full fascist. Okay. But that's all the right now. Get out of Israel. Stop funding Ukraine and all that money laundering, and focus on this country. That's what it is. Glockwork is a fascist. What's going on? I'm open to hearing people. I don't just slam them, even if they're a fascist.
2030 and beyond. But I, again, am so grateful for all of you. I'm so proud of all of you. You honor my husband so well. All of you do. And it's weird to say I'm excited. I really hesitate saying that. It's really hard for me to say that. It's really hard to say that, and it's weird because that's not normal. I mean, you're excited. How can you say you're excited? Your husband's dead. I hesitate to say you hesitate because it's wrong. I can't imagine being at a funeral and saying, guys, yeah, my wife's dead, but I'm really excited about the future, what the future holds. So many women, so little time. That's essentially what she's doing, but with business. Like, what? You're excited. You couldn't think of another word? Make sure that all of those plans come into effect, 2030 and beyond. But I, again, am so grateful for all of you. I'm so proud of all of you. You honor my husband so well. All of you do. And it's weird to say I'm excited. I really hesitate saying that. It's really hard for me to say that. It's a really weird thing to say. But I think it comes from a space of peace knowing that God's using this and we're humbly witnessing the gospel in real time.
So
To my wife, if you get time to watch this, when you pass away, the excitement isn't about you passing away. It's about the future and what opportunities are on the horizon. It's about all those women out there. Like, this is so weird. This is so weird. And anyone who defends this is I can't see anyone being genuinely like, oh, this is normal. This is what? I don't understand your problem with this.
let me remind you that when Charlie was having these visions about his death back in 2018, he specifically told me that he knew from the moment that he began Turning Point USA that he was going to die young. I'm going to re-show you this text message again. You can see it. Literally, he writes, since the beginning of Turning Point USA, I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time, like all the time. Not really afraid of it, but I'm just telling you what I know to be true. I'm not sure I'm going to live, begins with, I'm not sure I'm going to live to see the end of this revolution. But interesting that he says, since the beginning of Turning Point USA. I see somebody in the chat. First off, you guys are freaking out about listening to that call. It makes everybody uncomfortable. That is normal.
Crazy.
And now we're going to have to deal with the next psychological operation that tells us that it's wrong that we listened to the call. Goodbye. We don't care. Something's not right. We sense it's not right at Turning Point USA. And it feels like the people trying to get to the truth are being penalized. Listen to Lori Cardoza Moore rant in her car.
All right. So before we get to her ranting, I want to play this just for context. This is who Lori Cardoza is. So she actually covered a text message that was sent to Charlie Kirk before he passed away. So this is just context. That's why her clothes are going to change right now. It's not the same line.
How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting US president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interest. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. And yet all of us have trained ourselves to believe that you can't say that somehow, that that's like too naughty and forbidden. And the effect of making that off limits has been to create a lot of resentment, and I'll say it, hate online, where people feel like they can't just say, like, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. You have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad? Were you running a blackmail operation on behalf of a foreign government?
So now, I did that so you guys know what she's talking about.
Crossing with his mocking voice and his mocking laughter. They were horrified by what they saw. I had 3 couples reach out to me who had been to the Turning Point USA conference. And this was in Tampa a couple weeks ago. They called me and said they were horrified by what.
They call her and say they were horrified by what you just heard. That's why I wanted to play that so you guys can see what she's talking about, what she's so outraged about. I don't see anything wrong with what he said. But listen to how she's talking about what you just heard him say. To me, it sounded like free speech. Remember what The reason why I say this whole thing is so important because this is about free speech. They don't want you to say what you think. They need to control it. That's why Candace Owens is being, they're really going after her. Really going. They are attacking her. I've never seen anything like this. But because she's saying what she wants and not what the narratives are, they hate her. This lady is talking about that small, it was a clip of the speech, but she's talking about that.
Crossing with his mocking voice and his mocking laughter. They were horrified by what they saw. I had 3 couples reach out to me who had been to the Turning Point USA conference. And this was in Tampa a couple weeks ago. They called me and said they were horrified by what they saw. Horrified. They saw Tucker Carlson get up and act like another crazy person, talking, condemning Israel, praising Qatar with his mocking voice and his mocking laughter.
It's insane.
Right after him comes Michelle Bachmann. Michelle has 5 minutes to make an argument for why we have to stand with Israel to these young people at TPUSA. When she starts talking in that conference about supporting Israel and why America should stand with Israel, the people in the audience start booing her. I spoke with her personally. No. She said 10% in the room got up and walked out on her. That is shameful. Then Charlie Kirk. This is his event. He's responsible for what people are saying and doing. Does he get up and condemn Tucker or correct Tucker for what he said about Israel and how dangerous Qatar is to us? No. Did Charlie get up and defend Michelle Bachmann? Did he condemn the people that got up and walked out on her and that booed her? Did he say why we stand with Israel, we support Israel? No, he didn't. No. That tells us everything we need to know.
So she sent a text to him about that. But I need you to think about what you just heard, because she's literally talking about taking away free speech. And if somebody does speak up, you have to condemn it publicly. And that's like, right now on the right, this has always been on the left. The left has always done this. The right has never behaved like this. Never. I've never seen anything like this. They're trying to not only shut down speech, but shame people, ridicule them, get friends of those people to speak out against them. I condemn you. Shame, 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 like Game of Thrones. You need to walk through the whole town square as everyone screams shame because you have a difference in opinion. And he was not vile. He was not talking like a crazy person. She's mad that people agreed with him. So not only do you shut down the speech, well, we can't have that. But if you agree with it, you need to be condemned too. That lady's insane. She's crazy, clearly. And because those people disagreed with her perspective, she thinks Charlie Kirk should have stood up and condemned all the people who stood up and got up. Maybe they just disagree with you. Maybe you're wrong. But maybe at the very minimum, they just don't agree, and that should be okay. But to her, that's shameful, and Charlie Kirk needs to do something about it. It's your platform. You have to condemn it, or you're endorsing it, apparently. So apparently you can't just disagree and agree to disagree and move on. To her, you have to condemn anything you disagree with. This is what the left was doing with you have to be an anti-racist. You can't just not be racist. You have to overtly state it. You have to state it in front of everybody. I am not a racist. It's not enough to just not be racist. Your behaviors don't matter. You have to publicly say it, state it, so everyone knows. And then you have to act on it. And that's what we're looking at here. You can't just not be a Israel hater. You can't just not care about Zionism. You have to speak out against anyone who is against it. And then you have to take action by verbally stating it, going on social media, or however you want to do it, but it's got to be done. That's un-American.
I'm going to now read you an unhinged text message that Charlie received. This time,
that's the lady,
from a female Christian donor, Zionist, of course. And as I read this, I want you to keep in mind that this information, once again, is being shared to you from me, not from Charlie's closest friends over at Turning Point USA, who purport to care about what happened to him, purport to want the truth to get out, except not when it comes to the pressure that Charlie was under. But this is a real message. Andrew Kovac can confirm it's real. Erika Kirk can confirm it's real. that Charlie Kirk received this. Let's read this, okay?
It's the same
All
lady.
the people that
It came out.
trusted
So-
you,
Sorry. So what I played for you, I wanted to give you context, but this text message turns out it was that lady. So it's going to be very similar to what she said, and it's this is not normal. This is not normal behavior. This is desperation and people trying to not just control a narrative, but control speech about the narrative. You can't disagree with it.
Jews and Christians, including me. Why would you platform anti-Semites like Candace and Tucker? There are many evangelical Christian Zionists who would never give these people the opportunity to spew their hatred. I'm one of them. You say people are accusing you of being an anti-Semite because you disagree with the Israeli government. Well, what is it exactly that you disagree with? You threatened Jews and Christians with your 30 million followers. Are you kidding? Be very careful, Charlie. You are in violation of the 9th commandment by bearing false witness against your brother Judah. When was the last time you read your Bible, Charlie? I'm coming to you as a believer. Genesis 12:3. Obadiah and many more prophets warned that those who curse Israel will be cursed. Your TPUSA Tampa event was a disaster. Michelle Bachmann was booed, and about 10% walked out on her when she talked about standing with Israel. You brag about how you convinced all these young voters to vote for Trump, but you can't convince them to stand with our Jewish brethren. This is not a joke, Charlie. I'm coming to you as a sister in faith. You have accomplished so much by the hand of the Almighty, but he is going to lift his hand from you. Don't fall for Tucker, Candace, and the rest. The Jews are under attack. God warns us in the last days that he will wipe out the descendants of Edom because they stood by while their brothers, Jacob, Israel, was held in captivity and did nothing. Don't be counted among the Edomites. It will be to your peril, as well as the unfinished work God was going to do through you.
Couple things. I mean, there's a lot, but I'll let Candace talk about that. She took the O out of God. I found that very weird. It's almost like the Holy Spirit wouldn't let this demon spell it out. And then this is a direct threat. This is a direct threat. There's no way that I could take this other than a threat, especially when she speaks about what God was going to do through him, as if it's too late now. She literally said, careful. But she's using Bible verses to threaten this man. And it's not because of something he did, it's because of something he did not do. He would not deplatform somebody. He would not come out after their speech and say, I condemn everything they just said. Is that how this country works? Like, let's hear what Candace has to say about this.
Oh, but this is in my opinion, since we caught Andrew Colvett with the Paramount Tactical tweet holding it, that she's orchestrating a lot behind the scenes and keeping her hands clean. I think that became very obvious to me in that moment. And then going backward and finding that she's not misspeaking. I mean, sometimes she's just saying a lie, right? I lived in China. No, I never lived in China. Then you go backward and you go, I didn't never did.
I took that part out, but I linked the videos because that's important. But that didn't go along the Erika Kirk behavior, so I cut that out. But there is a link to that whole video, so you can hear what she had to say about that crazy lady, essentially threatening Charlie Kirk days before he died, like literally, I think it was like 4 or 5 days before he died, and then speaking about him in past tense, what he was supposed to do in past tense, as if that was enough. She couldn't take it anymore, and she was just a donor. But so now she's back on Erika Kirk and her stories.
Anybody, and people are constantly trying to clean that up. It's like, you don't say I didn't date for 5 years if you did date for 5 years, and then they're like, well, no,
Weird.
just meant in New York City. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That just makes no sense. If you had a boyfriend the whole time you were in New York City, but he happened to live in Philadelphia, you don't say I didn't date for 5 years. That's not what you say. You could say I didn't date anybody from New York City, but I'm kind of getting tired of everyone like extending things and not just calling out something that's just not true. It's just not true. We have confirmed for a fact that she lied she lied to my face actually regarding the Superman neck. She blamed that on Andrew Colvett, said that he went rogue, that Dr. Lee Trotter also went rogue, violated HIPAA, that they hopped on the phone and did this without her consent or knowledge. And on top of that, Andrew then sends out a tweet. I told you, confirmed to you, the doctor did not violate HIPAA. It was actually a three-way call. And the statement pertaining to Superman neck came from her. Andrew Colvett, in that regard, was doing Erika's bidding. He was taking a figurative bullet for her. She did not misspeak there. There's no way to look around it. She lied. She lied right to my face when she said that.
And so what was wild about that is it was always thought that Andrew Colvett did that. But what she's saying here, which, if it's true, that's crazy, is that she told him to put that fake narrative out. And he's just doing it because his boss said so. So it seems like she still thinks there's some kind of redeeming quality to Andrew Colvett, but we'll see.
She knew that HIPAA, he didn't violate HIPAA. She lied to a doctor, a surgeon, and she knew that she was on that call. So let's just say that clearly. We've also now confirmed that she was at the Hamptons retreat, the now infamous Hamptons retreat. She was present when Bibi Netanyahu called. And that bothers me because I was out here catching a lot of heat for telling the truth. Now, we have two different versions of that story. Andrew Colvett said that Bibi offered to fund Turning Point to the next level. I have since confirmed what Andrew Colvett said with two people that are not related to Andrew Colvett at all. Erika, despite being at that dinner and confirming that she was there, does not remember that part. She says that there was not an offer that was made and that Bibi was calling about the letter that Charlie wrote him back in May. Andrew confirmed to me that Charlie described that summit as like an intervention was being staged over Israel. So I find that to be interesting. Again, with everything that we now know, my assumption was she didn't wade into things, didn't wade into the water, and didn't say anything about the debate that was happening because she was so overwhelmed and kind of catching her breath as a new CEO and chairman. I think now I have a different perspective on that. I'm not sure why she did not come out and say, if she was capable of doing calls and sitting down and doing meetings, come out and say, like, yes, this Hampton Summit did happen. Yes, Bibi did call, and try to work through with Andrew why they have different memories of whether or not he called to fund things to the next level. We have also confirmed that Erika and Andrew were working together on that Fort Huachuca PR response. It was the craziest tax I've ever endured.
Well, even before she gets to that, if Andrew Colvett said Bibi Netanyahu said he would give $150 million to TPUSA and Charlie turned it down, that would explain why TPUSA went immediately after Wolves of Finance for going through their finance records. He was going through their taxes because they supposedly have made $250 million since Charlie's assassination. So they could easily squeeze that $150 million in there and just say, "Oh yeah, this is due to all of the support that we're getting because Charlie's gone." Maybe they just made $100 million, which is still insane. But if they don't want people looking into it to see how they made the money, it would make sense that, hey, maybe he did give money. Maybe he is trying to take them to the next level. So Charlie said no, but sounds like Erika's saying yes, she's going in that direction. Just a thought.
Alex Jones, quite entertainingly, he's coming for me my whole life, everything. But that PR response was confirmed that she was a part of that through this obscure YouTuber, Paramount Tactical, rather than going directly to me after we sat down. That, to me, seems like a pretty strong violation of a well-meaning conversation that I had with her for 4 hours. And I should also mention that that was the same YouTuber, despite also going into Mitch's entire past, Mitch knows past. But after calling for a ceasefire and saying, let us sit down and talk, they welcomed Paramount Tactical onto Charlie Kirk's podcast show while I was in this hotel room to debunk me. I had no idea it was happening. And then that's, I think, was the beginning of when it clicked to me, seeing that him being caught live, Andrew Colvett live messaging something from Erika after she told me that they were disappointed in Andrew, that he wasn't going to be involved in PR anymore. That's when I realized that I was being lied to, that she was making moves behind the scenes. I'm going to let this play out for 5 minutes straight, and there is no context needed other than this is 5.5 days after her husband was publicly assassinated. And yes, in the background, that is Terrell Farnsworth, the guy who took down the cameras. Yeah, but we are going to see some grief. So I'm going to allow you guys to watch this for 5 minutes.
So before we even get to that, so the audio was 11 or 12 days after Charlie's death. This is right after his death. So I don't know if you heard her say that, but this is the 16th. He was, I believe, the 10th. So we're 5 days after. This is another conference call. This one was done via Zoom. So it's not just audio of somebody recording audio. You can see it here. And this is a different call.
Had private conversations with him. I want you all to hold on to those. And I want you all to remember those so deeply. I want you to journal about them. I want you to be able to tell your kids about them. I want you to put those in your heart as why you're still here with the Turning Point USA family, because that's what we want. And like I said to our small group after whatever day that was, and I did the thing on TV, how many days are still on Good Friday. I told the team, I said, Turning Point USA will continue like my husband always wanted, and it'll be bigger than ever. And we're going to honor him by doing that. We're going to stay humble. We're going to work hard because that's what he would want. And we're going to just make it grow. And we're going to keep our eyes fixed on heaven. And, you know, like even Stacey said, he's going to find ways to speak to us. And he's going to speak to you in different ways. Every person's going to be different. But you'll get little moments where you're like, okay, Charlie, I see you. It might be here on campus. It might be in quiet moments of the night.
Candace Owens took a lot of heat, nonstop, for saying that she saw Charlie in a dream. And they mocked her. They said that they called her a demon. Even Frank Turek talked about that. And it's like, what's wrong? I didn't understand what the big deal was. But now here's Erika Kirk saying the exact same thing. And not only that, she's telling people who work for her, he's going to come to you and you're going to, like, this is, what's the difference between what she's saying here and what Candace Owens said? And I mean, literally, if you go on X and type in Candace Owens dreams, you'll see people doing nothing but mocking her over saying exactly what Erika Kirk is saying, the grieving widow.
But he's here and he's more alive than ever. And he is, he's going to guide us. And we just have to remain humble. But again, what I told the team was, I will fight like hell to make sure that all of you have a job here. I don't want anyone to think their job's in jeopardy, because your family, if you choose to leave, that's different. I never will. And I promise you, I will make sure that I never allow a point to where you have to leave because we cannot financially afford you.
They fired between 15 and 40 people because somebody heard something about an Uber driver who heard that they weren't a fan of hers. But you all have a job.
And that is a promise. I want our family to stay together the best it can.
Promise.
Obviously, circumstances, you know, there's unforeseen things that might pop up here and there that we can't foresee in the future. But for right now, the way things are, I would like to remain if they are status quo. And I think that's the.
So things might pop up, like an Uber driver might say that he doesn't like me. Then, of course, you got to go. We're going to fire 15 or was it 30, 40, 50 people? Whatever the number is. That's something they could have never foreseen.
Best thing to do, and everything else we can worry about later. But I just want to let you know that you guys are all very loved. I'm very proud of you, and Charlie would be. I mean, I think Charlie's just. I'm trying not to say that he would be. He's obviously celebrating in heaven, amongst so many things, but he's so proud of all of you, and he's so proud of all of you for keeping this mission alive. And he knows that you can do it. That's why you're hired. And he knows that you will be able to carry the torch, and he knows that you're going to do a great job. And you're.
That's it. So this I have a problem with because it's manipulation again. I need you to work because Charlie would want you to work. She's speaking for him, first of all. But I don't. This is very uncomfortable to me. This is. To me, this does not feel right from a corporate perspective. You're holding these people not hostage, but you're making them feel bad if they don't want to work, if they want to leave. Well, you're going against Charlie's wishes. This is weird, very, very weird.
We're going to be able to, even though days are going to be tough. Honestly, the nights are the hardest. Mornings are pretty raw too. But once you're just what I've noticed these past several days is if I didn't have the family, the Turning Point USA family with me, all of you, I would be a disaster. I mean, I would be in fetal position 24/7. But the fact that we have a continued mission to look forward to, and we have our family, it's everything. And some of you, this is your chosen family. And just rely and lean on each other. That's huge. Leaning on each other is huge because all of you were together prior to this, and we'll be together after this. And everything, and I told Justin, it's going to be something where everything before September 10th, any email you were working on, any project you were working on, it's not that it's irrelevant now. It's just things have changed, obviously.
So are you going forward with his plan? Because you just told them all, whatever you're working on, don't worry about it. We're going in a new direction. We're going in Bibi Netanyahu's direction. And the family, I love you, family. It feels like manipulation to me. If I were on this call, I would be extremely uncomfortable. Like this, so you want me to follow you and not do what Charlie had me doing to push Charlie's legacy forward? Okay.
And the mission has gotten deeper, and the mission will grow deeper. But I just want all of you to know, we will be wise stewards. We will be vigilant. We will be humble. And I just want you to know that, again, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And we're going to make sure that we honor my husband so well that this whole world knows what his vision was and will be.
She said they're going to be humble and wise stewards. She only flies private. I looked up a flight just from Phoenix to Los Angeles. It was anywhere between 7,000 and 40,000 just to fly 6 hours. Well, that's a 6-hour drive just to fly 2 hours. This is how she goes everywhere. Private planes. This is wise stewards. This is humble. She came out with pyrotechnics like she's Bill Goldberg. We're going to be humble and wise stewards.
And it's just, I feel so blessed and honored.
Here's the beginning of that call.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Sorry, this is a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet. I didn't know they could do that. I hate Zoom. I never like Zoom. Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys as much as it is for our family. You guys lost not only a boss, but someone that you looked up to, someone that you believed in his mission, that you also that you loved. You loved listening to his show. You loved hearing his wisdom on things. I'm sure some of you have also had very personal moments of where you sat down and
or you were just an employee. You're getting paid by the guy. There's a lot of projection here, but again, this is not normal. This is not how a conference call goes. Definitely not a company-wide conference call. They have 700 employees. And she's making it sound like they lost their husband. You're the one who lost your husband. But that was only 5 days after he was gone.
Yep. So that's the beginning, just so you have that in its full context. Now we're going to keep letting this play out because you are going to hear her actually be the first person to say an expression that has been used a lot. She's going to remind people that everybody grieves differently. 5.5 days after Charlie was announced dead at the hospital. Take a listen.
And we will do our best to continue to make Turning Point USA the behemoth that he wanted it to be, this massive thing. And it is, and that's why we have to stay humble. But I just want you guys to stay in prayer. And if you guys do need anything, please reach out to whoever you know to reach out to. And pray with one another, be there with one another, be soft with one another. Everyone grieves differently. So if someone's acting weird, don't read into that. Weddings and funerals bring out the weirdest side in people. Just anyone who's been married knows that. So don't read into that. Just love on each other. And if there's anything or anyone who tries to divide your team or you, or that's just the enemy, and just rebuke it and know that there's a bigger mission at hand. And again, you guys are all very loved, and I feel very honored, and I'm grateful for all of you. So I just wanted to take some time to hop on and share with you my condolences. I wish I could help all of you, but again, the fact that there's a lot of them in the office on today, the fact that a lot of you guys are here in office, that's what he would. At the mission, he doesn't want you to just be sitting on the couch alone in your room. He wants you to, obviously, we will all mourn, but he would want you to build. And so that's what we'll do. We'll have a story.
You feel that manipulation? Glad you guys are at work. My husband just died 5 days ago, but he would want you in the office working. That's what he wants from heaven. That's what he wants. He wouldn't want you at home grieving for real.
On one hand, I love how the healing the other person to build. Okay, I love you all. Deep breaths. Usha, I just want to share this with you all. I asked her when we were on the tarmac. I said, I don't know how to get through this. And she said, you know, when you're on an airplane, and some of you have kids will really relate to this. Others that don't, you've been on a plane with kids, so you can also relate to this. But she said, when you're on an airplane and you're 15 minutes before landing and the kids are going crazy and you have 15 minutes left on the plane and they're throwing their toys and they're screaming and you're thinking to yourself, am I going to make it through these next 15 minutes? And then the plane lands. And Usha said, you're going to make it through those next 15 minutes. And then that was 15.
So you guys know when you're on a tarmac talking to somebody, like the only I think it's safe to say anybody who's going to watch this, the only way you stood on a tarmac is if you flew, what is it, Allegiant, Frontier, those flights. What's up, Uncle L? That's the only way you were standing on a tarmac. What is this lady talking about? She's talking about flying private. You know how right before the private plane lands, your kids are throwing toys everywhere? That's not how normal people, like, there's no way for kids to be throwing toys everywhere on a regular airplane. But you're taking these $40, $50, $60,000 flights. So your kids are running around with toys before you land on the plane and then get to speak to the vice president's wife on the tarmac. We don't do that. If we're exiting a plane on a tarmac, we are flying the cheapest possible one-way flight that there is. So no, we don't. We can't relate. We can't relate, Miss Humility. You're going to be humble though, right? You're telling us about your kids running around on your airplane, your private plane, throwing toys around 15 minutes before the landing, and then explaining to the vice president's wife about what you had to go through while you're on the tarmac. This is insane. Hold on.
Okay, I love you all. Deep breaths. Usha, I just want to share this with you all. I asked her when we were on the tarmac. I said, I don't know how to get through this. And she said, you know, when you're on an airplane, and some of you have kids will really relate to this. Others that don't, you've been on a plane with kids, so you can also relate to this. But she said, when you're on an airplane and you're 15 minutes before landing and the kids are going crazy and you have 15 minutes left on the plane and they're throwing their toys and they're screaming and you're thinking to yourself, am I going to make it through these next 15 minutes? And then the plane lands. And Usha said, you're going to make it through those next 15 minutes.
Yeah, if that happened, we would have a, what do we call them? Flight attendants? They used to call them stewardess. We would have somebody come yell at us. Get your kid under control and wire their toys everywhere. Put your trays up. You have a completely different experience from the normal human being, lady. So we cannot relate. Put your trays up. You have any trash? Everything under the seat. Seatbelts, seatbelts, seatbelts. Your kids can't just run around throwing toys around in a regular airplane. We don't relate to you. And this is why people look at her weird. She's not normal. This is not normal behavior. What she's saying makes no sense to the normal person. And that's why people go at her. This isn't normal.
And then that was 15 minutes. And so I just want to share that with you because it was a very private moment.
On a private plane.
But it gave me some peace to know that we can just do this 15 minutes at a time. So if that means at work when you're feeling a little bit sad, take those 15 minutes and you'll be okay. We're all going to be okay. I love you guys. Have a great meeting. Is there anything else to do? It's good. You guys are loved. Love this little film on the birds. It's so cute. So sweet.
It's so
God bless
funny.
you all.
Thank you, guys.
Psycho. That's psychotic. That's 5 days after her husband is gone. She's talking about private planes. And if you need to take a break from work 5 days after he's gone, take a break, but get back to work and stay in the office. Don't leave. And if you leave, that's your PTO. That's on you, not me.
I mean, I don't really know what to say. I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share that with you because I fully side with the employees, what they have lived through, everything that's happened, to have them admit that they work 20-hour days, to see how they were manipulated into doing that, and then having the carpet pulled under their feet and told goodbye and God forbid you want to speak out about what you've lived through, then you're somehow like, it's a cult. That's a cult, to be clear. That's just a cult. You're with us or you're against us. And these people were not against them. They were loyal employees. Okay. They were loyal employees, and they said that they felt like they were being emotionally manipulated, think that they had to just work harder, even beyond the 20-hour days they're working during the weekday. They were then asked to come in on the weekend to pack t-shirts because it's what Charlie would want. And I kept picking up on that beyond these calls. I kept saying, why does it feel like they're using the ghost of Charlie to sort of guilt people into doing things? Like, this is what Charlie would want. He'd want your money. This is what Charlie would want. He would want your kid's college fund. This is what Charlie would want. He wants grandma's will. This is what Charlie's dancing. He's dancing in heaven. He is, I don't want to say the word happy. Maybe he's not happy. He just got assassinated. Maybe he's not happy that he's never going to see his children again or put them to bed, but he is dancing unhappily or something. What?
Wild.
Okay. Like, I don't know what this is. Like I said, fully side with the employees. I do believe with all of the new information that I'm getting, and it is a lot, that she has been orchestrating this entire PR campaign from the back and pretending that Andrew Colvett was problematic. Maybe some credit to Andrew Colvett for being enough of a gentleman to absorb all of that, to allow people to think that it was just him acting rogue when it wasn't. It factually was not. We were lied to. And I don't know what the purpose is of that lie. That's what troubles me. What is the purpose of that lie? And by the way, just going back to that end of the timeline that we have put together, it's actually stunning to consider that when they opted to have the three-way call with the doctor, okay, when they hurried and called the surgeon, because I did an episode and I was like, hey, something's really weird that you guys should know is that, you know, the bullet didn't go through. There was no blood in the back of Charlie. And then Erika and Andrew got on the phone with the surgeon. That was on the day of Charlie's actual funeral mass. Like, that was a priority for them to have something to issue as a statement onto X to try to explain away why a 30-06 didn't go through. Like, that doesn't seem like the proper day for that, but that's when it happened. That's when it factually, that phone call took place. We know because Andrew said just got off the phone with the surgeon. So we don't have to imagine when that was. The day after my episode, when people were going, what do you mean there's no blood in the back? What do you mean the 30-06? Why lie about that? Why are we being lied to? And we're supposed to accept that they have enough money, well, they do, to hire crisis PR people and a bunch of accounts on X to tell us that it's ungodly for us to not just sit there and be lied to? That God's mandate means you can't question this. You can't question why kids are being treated like this. Like, this is Charlie's vision. He's dancing in heaven, watching how kids that, a bunch of students that slaved for him, 20-hour days, to put together the memorial events are being let go for no reason other than loyalty tests that are being conducted by Marina, the COO, who's talking to Uber drivers for the tea. Hey, do you hear anything about Turning Point USA? Well, I heard that this Uber driver said that you may have said something. Bring her into the room. She may have critiqued Erika. Not allowed. What is this, guys? It's severe manipulation, and it's not okay. It's not okay at all. And what is guiding that, though? What is guiding the lies? That's what I'm interested in. I don't like when people lie to my face. I really don't like when people lie to my face. And then I don't like when they send me cease and desist because I told the truth. I would say that's like a personal trigger of mine.
I mean, there's not much more you can say. For anybody who doesn't see anything wrong with that, I question whether or not you're being fully honest, or maybe you just have never been on those kinds of calls before. That's possible. It's totally possible. JP Sears made a video. I'm gonna play that real quick and then I'm done. He made a video that represents both sides. It represents the people who are like, what's going on here? And then the people who are justifying her behaviors, especially around those calls. And you've probably seen this guy. He does a lot of comedy videos, but he's now being completely turned on for daring to make this video. And it's a short video. I'll speed it up a little bit so it goes a little bit faster. But definitely go to his. Let me pull this up first. Definitely go to his channel, Awaken with JP. Again, it's linked in my description. Subscribe to this guy. I saved that just for this. Oops, I why did it just went all the way out. I don't know what just happened.
I can't wait for the Zoom call with Erika. Yeah, I can't.
This is his video, which I found phenomenal. Phenomenal. Hilarious. And again, it represents both sides.
I can't wait for the Zoom call with Erika. Yeah, I can't believe she's doing it just 6 days after Charlie, but she'll probably just be crying the whole time. Poor thing. Oh, she's on.
Oh, look at all the thumbs up. Look how cute that is. Sorry, it's a little bit more informal than probably Charlie would be reacting. How sweet.
Surprisingly upbeat. Laughing a lot.
Sorry, you guys. I just wanted to say first and foremost, my heart obviously is broken for you guys.
For us, what about her? Does she know Charlie was her husband?
Turning Point USA will continue like my husband always wanted, and it'll be bigger than ever. And we're going to honor him by doing that. We're going to stay humble.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's really focused on business.
We're going to work hard because that's what he would want. And we're going to just make it grow.
Just growing the business.
But he's here, and he's more alive than ever. And he is, he's going to guide us.
He's actually dead, and she's guiding us. What's going on here?
And I told Justin, it's going to be something where everything before September 10th, any email you were working on, any project you were working on, it's not that it's irrelevant now. It's just things have changed, obviously.
What? So projects Charlie had us working on don't matter? Like, dude, don't you think this is a little strange? No, she's just saying if Charlie had you working on a project, don't worry about that anymore because she's going to lead us in a more Charlie-like way than Charlie ever could. It's a change.
And I just want you to know that, again, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's definitely here now.
I feel so blessed. And honored.
Hey, man, do you think it's weird that she's leading us now? No, not at all. That's Charlie's wife. What are you talking about? She has no background in leading significant 9-figure organizations. Her background is seeking fame through reality TV shows and beauty pageants. I mean, she's not next in line most qualified to lead us. Yes, she is. Just imagine Patrick Mahomes tragically dies in a car accident. Who would be next in line to lead the Chiefs as starting quarterback? Second string quarterback. No, dummy. Patrick Mahomes' wife. It's the same thing. You don't think this is weird? You're just overthinking it. And by the way, show some respect, okay? She's a grieving widow, but she's not really grieving. She's not doing any of that.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
There you go. You just heard her. Everyone grieves differently. Well, but nobody grieves like that. Just get over it, pussy. We got to get ready for the memorial service. It's going to be sick. I don't know, man. I'm just so sad.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things.
Hey, Erika, the emojis are killer. So how'd this memorial perform?
I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of the century, like it's just insane.
I know, complete insanity. Incredible. Now, what kind of numbers did we do?
We had over 275,000 people. Insane.
What is... Her husband got shot in the neck 11 days ago. Erika, now that it's been 11 days since your husband got shot in the neck, how do we do on merch?
We're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But
great. It's all positives.
Huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal.
Erika, with all due respect, what about Charlie?
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
Okay. Can we bring it back to the numbers?
Since his assassination, we have 100,000 chapter requests, 300,000 new donors.
I'm so happy to hear that all of that happened.
Otherwise, honestly, Turning Point USA and Turning Point Action, full steam ahead, you guys. We have so much to do, which is exciting.
Her children lost their father. Who do you think is with them right now? Erika, I'm wondering, because your children lost their father and you're not with them, could we get a read on hat sales?
I think we have 50,000 plus hat orders to fulfill.
Congrats, Erika. That's phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
Charlie in heaven is like, you guys thought you had a busy schedule then, just you wait.
So you're saying that Charlie, with a heavenly perspective, wants us to work even more instead of spending more time with our families? Is that... Oh, dude, I hear she's single right now and available. Do you think it'd be cool if I mean, we're coworkers, but what do you think? Does anybody know what the is going on here? Erika, I've been looking at your beauty pageant bikini pictures, and those pictures were awesome. Where were you for those? They look like somewhere tropical.
Charlie would want us to get back to work, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, Erika, more work from us to generate more money, because that's what matters in this situation, is what Charlie wants from heaven. Roger that. Great call. How do you feel about her? Dude, she's a tremendous leader and a grieving widow. I don't feel comfortable with this. I don't know about you, but I'm
phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it covers how people are thinking. But he's now under attack. People are saying he's ruined his career. There's people trying to deplatform him off of X, and he's now, they're literally putting him in the same category as Tucker Carlson, even though I don't think Tucker Carlson should be in a category, but they hate the guy now. Just from that video, I found it hilarious. I think most normal people found that hilarious. But you can't it's grieving widow. Where is it? I'm looking for it. Oh no, that's just me saying that they hate him now. And if you type in his name in X, you'll see how much he's hated. Actually, let me type his name in X to see how much he's hated. Hold on, we'll do this live. Share screen. Let's see what's going on. That's him posting it. Oh, this is his post. How about So I went to his page. It didn't really go to talking about him. Yeah. Now he's never been that funny. Thank you, Lord, for giving me the gift of discernment in a world of fakeness. They're calling him fake. They just don't like him anymore. They really don't like him anymore. Some people are supporting him. Seeing conservatives. So this person is blaming Megyn Kelly, and so if you legitimize Candace Owens, people like JP Sears feel emboldened to attack Erika Kirk for clicks. That what you? I didn't see an attack, but yeah, we should all do so now. Yeah, I'm curious as to how he would. I don't know what all this is. All this is. Those are closed. He's a degenerate. Apparently, he's a degenerate. Another person to add to mute list. And there's a lot of very, very, very popular people who are now coming out against him. And it's wild. It's wild. She's mocking the fact that people are calling for him to be censored. Why? Like, what's his name? Oh crap, I can't think of his name. Seth Dillon from Babylon Bee actually told him, "You're mocking the wrong person." Like literally, you do satire. Like that's what you do, and now you're telling people who they can and can't satire. It is what it is. Uncle L, thank you, sir. Appreciate you as always. G Will, Glockwork Orange over on Twitch. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by, Miss Phoenix, as always. Mel Dub, thank you. Who else was in here? Amber C, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Burn Slots, you hate my politics, but I appreciate you sitting through this. G, will you change your name? Dish and Dirt, thank you. I appreciate you for stopping by. Dan Tana, thank you. Henry Caldwell, TP, King Perspectives, or King Spectives. Vibe in My Lane, I appreciate all you guys. Endless Pull over on Twitch also. Thank you guys so much. Miss Baker, I appreciate you all. We're just going to keep going and until we figure out where they're trying to go with this censorship and this free speech, how they're trying to eliminate free speech. It's very, 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 very dangerous. It's a very dangerous game. But that said, I appreciate you all. Let me find my. Let me turn that off. Let me find the proper outro. There it is. Thank you again. I'm going to try to do my art live tonight. I'm going to try. You know what? Let me put that link in here for the artwork channel. I don't know why I can't attach it to my. I still can't. I tried earlier. I still can't attach it to my StreamYard, and maybe because they're both YouTube. I don't know. But that is the channel. My Twitch is also here. And you know what? I'm also going to check my TikTok to make sure that, or to see if I'm able to go live on there. If that happens, I'm going to be going live on, I'm not going live here. I'll be switching it to the other art channel. I'll post where I'm live at. This is TikTok. I think it may have been 30 days by now. If not, then it'll still be the same 3 places. With that said, I appreciate you all. Thank you. And I'm out.